say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning. You wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved, someone to clean up and tame. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh. You think I would look pretty on your arm once you cover up my bruises and battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face, got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you break your back to make me feel again, suffocate to make me breathe again, lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread with the angels. Fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone. So save your judgment, cause you just don't know. But some things never change, never change. Oh, they say I should feel guilty and change my ways, leaving crumpled bodies in my wake. Swear I didn't mean to make them break, swear I didn't mean to make them break. But they're so delicate and so mundane, and they keep coming like a moth to a flame. Oh, some things never change, never change. You break your back to make me feel again, suffocate to make me breathe again, lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came.
All right. Let's get started, everyone. It's Friday night, and welcome, everyone, to another spectacular event. I'm your host, Rickzilla, and tonight we're going to be taking a look at some quirky and weird shit. I mean, we've got Cobes going after... We got Cobes talking about the whole Christian thing, and we got Rev being a complete idiot, as he always is, complaining about how his Instagram got terminated because he was spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. And we're going to be looking at Gaasuba's new videos, and I don't know. And we're going to see if we can look at some Chantal Marie, because I haven't done a video on her in a while. Well, actually, I've never done a video on Chantal Marie. So I'm just going to take a look at Just Saying's, I'm going to pay a visit to Just Saying to see the recent Foodie Booty fiasco, because this is kind of getting awkward. And I think I might be joined with a guest tonight. Reality check, if you're still up for it, I hope to see you come on. Anyway, let's get started. So our first video is going to be Cobes talking about the whole Christian thing.
What's up, fellow YouTubers? Just doing some laundry. Got ourselves a juice, black cherry, 14% alcohol. This is the only one I have of anything of this nature, period. So let's just do it. Now we're doing a rant. What are we doing a rant on? Chris Chan got sentenced to a woman's prison. fucking disgusted by this crap. This is not necessarily a trans rant so much as it is a Chris Chan rant. Now, Chris Chan's a nasty-ass motherfucker who raped his 80-year-old mom who has dementia. And because he identifies as trans, he's getting sent to a female prison.
Yeah, about that. I don't know what they're going to do with Chris Chan. I honestly need to keep informed. I mean, I hope someone has an update on this, because I hope that the least they can do for Chris is they're probably going to be placing him in like a psych ward. Actually, no. They're placing him in a holding facility for like 72 hours until the courts say that he's too retarded to function in society. And they'll probably place him in a group home, hopefully underneath like a 24/7 surveillance, and I don't think he's going to be able to use the internet again. That's my 2 cents on that. But I hope to see more information come to light.
And the dude still has his dick. Are you kidding me with this crap? What's going to stop Chris Chan from raping women in prison? That's the real fucking truth. And here's some real shit, YouTube. You would not send a convicted pedophile to children's jail or juvenile court or juvenile detention. So why the fuck would you send Chris Chan to a female's prison?
Because the LGBTQ, well, actually no. Actually, scratch that. Even the LGBTQ doesn't want Chris Chan. It's been stated multiple times that nobody wants to be associated with Chris Chan. Hell, not even the Sonic community wants to be associated. Not even the Sonic fandom wants to be associated with him anymore, because Chris Chan, along with other idiots, represent the worst people on the internet, the worst people of the Sonic fandom, and of course, nobody wants to be associated with Chris. Oh, I already said that before. Yeah, but
the dude's not going to learn his lesson.
No, he won't.
He's going to have all this free of age range pussy just staring at him like, you know what I'm saying? If he still has his dick, then the dude's not going to learn a goddamn thing.
Oh, so he was sent to a male prison? From what I hear, he's sent to a male prison? Of course they would send him to a male prison, because he doesn't identify as trans. The only reason why he threw on the trans label was to pick up lesbians, since he failed at attracting heterosexual women, because he's ugly as sin, and he looks like a pedophile, even though he's not a pedophile.
If you wanted to teach Chris Chan a lesson, you should have sent him to the men's prison.
Oh, he is
but
going
people
there.
are so goddamn worried about being called a transphobe anymore. And it's just like, well, we can't do that. We got to respect pronouns. I'm sorry, but Chris Chan, you don't get to have my respect. Especially on the whole pronouns bullshit. I support trans rights, but this guy is a piece of fucking work.
See? Even Cobes is disgusted by Chris Chan. And that's saying something. That is saying something. A guy who makes rancid food and puts rancid food in a skillet that he has not washed in days is saying something more that we all understand, that we all know about. Chris Chan is not going to get away this time. And it's only a matter of time before other lolcows start coming out with disgusting things. I mean, we've already taken care of someone named Ross. If you don't know who Ross is, if you recall who Ross is, you might know about Jonathan Elias Ross from the days of the Kumite. when Mr. Medicare talked about how challenged him on his attraction to kids.
And this is the kind of crap that makes it hard to support trans people. It's the truth. You never hear about trans people saving an infant from a burning building. You don't. Whenever trans people pop in the news, it's either some sicko doing some fucked off shit, or they're getting bullied and harassed because they want to chop their dick off and turn it into a pussy. Like, all these trans women scream about how they want to be treated just like women. And it's like, well, if you want to be treated just like a woman, you gotta have lady parts to do that. It's the truth, YouTube. It's like this Chris Chan.
I know a lot of people are saying that they're not sure if Chris Chan actually did rape his own mother, but I don't know. A lot of people say he didn't do it, and it's kind of hard to believe because we all know that Chris Chan has had some internet notoriety, but keep in mind that Chris Chan, he does have the potential of being a danger to society. And maybe this Bella chick is a troll who just wants him to, like, lie, who tricked him into saying things that he didn't want to say. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe this is another troll scheme that people are talking about. But I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. I mean,
have a vagina now? He doesn't. He still has his dick, but some big old ugly ass man titties. Put him in the male's prison. No, we can't have that. Chris Chan might get raped in the male prison. We can't have that.
Good.
Oh, what, a rapist getting raped? Eye for an eye? Oh no, that would be horrible, wouldn't it? Sarcasm intended.
Not good sarcasm. It's not great sarcasm, by the way, Cobes. Oh, shit.
Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Chris Chan's going to learn his fucking lesson.
He won't.
If he's being sent to a female.
He won't learn his lesson. He's not going to learn his lesson. He'll never learn his lesson.
Prison with his penis still intact, able to get hard and everything. There are women who have been locked up in prison who haven't had dick in ages. And Chris Chan's just fresh meat, so he might get raped in the female prison, but he might not.
Yeah.
It'd be, what's the word I'm looking for? Justice?
Poetic justice.
But at least he's going to prison. That's the silver lining. And his mom, Barb, has been put into like care and shit. But
I mean, if he didn't do it, then why did he describe about it? I mean, look, a lot of people are going to say that it was doctored, it was Photoshopped, Chris Chan is innocent, and all that shit. But it's not going to matter right now since the guy is in jail. And he's probably going to be there for practically a long time. Who knows? Who knows for sure what's going to happen? And a lot of people are saying, oh, he doesn't know better. He has autism. That's not an excuse. Having a disability shouldn't make you exempt from consequences. Even if he didn't do it or he did do it, it's still... Barb is in her 80s. Barb has onset dementia. She doesn't even know where she is half the time. She doesn't know where she is half the time. She is literally... Actually, no. She is... Well, I wouldn't say literally brain dead. She is practically brain dead. And I honestly don't understand what people's issues are. Did he do it or didn't he do it? Did he do it? Did he not do it? That's the question. Did he rape his own mother or did he not do it? Did he just say that just for attention or was he sincere? Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Jesus Christ. This whole Chris Chan bullshit. Ugh, dude. Fuck the Forbidden Four and fuck Chris Chan. Just hanging out, having a beverage. It's the only one I got. And quite frankly, I don't need a shit ton of alcohol to do a stream. I don't even need alcohol to do a stream. But when you're talking about certain subjects, sometimes a little bit of that adult beverage, not a sponsor, helps.
Not a sponsor. I like Cobes.
Chris Chan can suck a horse cock. I would piss on the grave of a pedophile if I could get away with it.
Me too. If Ross were to die, does anybody remember a time when the internet were upset? When the internet was upset with a man who liked looking at naked kids in bathtubs? Do you remember that time, almost 3 years ago, when we were talking about Jonathan Elias Ross? You know he was autistic, right? And again, I still hold on to the belief that Chris Chan I mean, why would he admit to something, a heinous crime, when he's a low functioning autistic person? Why would Chris Chan admit to something heinous as raping his mother when he's a low functioning autistic person? I'm just gonna say it. This is my opinion. My opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me on this, but I believe that Chris Chan's diagnosis might not be what he describes it to be. If anything, I believe that Chris Chan might be a low functioning autistic person who is easily manipulated by outside forces. If you give me 1 minute with that fucker, I will tell him that he's the Zodiac killer, and he would fucking believe it. He is that much of a low-functioning autistic person. You can disagree with me if you want, but I hold on to that belief.
Hell, I would kill pedophiles if I could get away with it. I fucking hate pedophiles, dude. They're gross.
I think they're going to condemn the house. That's probably my opinion. They're probably going to condemn that house. But who knows? There's too many bad memories there. I mean, that place has been littered with garbage from both Chris and Barb. And honestly, no one's going to want anything from that place. I don't think anyone wants anything from Chris Chan, knowing what he has done to the possessions.
For that matter, I'm fucking sick and tired of our society overly sexualizing kids. This shit grosses me out. You know what I'm saying? And kids are not allowed to have an imagination anymore without being judged or perceived. You see a 4-year-old boy wearing a dress and having a tea party with his 3-year-old sister, and people just go off like, oh my God, are you trans? It's like, dude, he's a kid. The concept of trans does not exist in his tiny pea brain minor head.
There are, yeah.
Stupid ass motherfuckers. Hashtag let kids be kids, man. Jesus Christ. And the fact that Chris Chan's autistic, I'm like, great. My ass is now included into this shit because I myself am also autistic. But you don't see me doing sick shit like that. Jesus Christ.
I agree.
I get that you're lonely. I get that you're
Yes, Dr. Cringe. I do believe actually, from what I hear, the bank owns 14 Branchland Court. The bank owns that house. So if something happens to Barb, or if she's unable to care for that house anymore, and if anything happens, it's obvious that Chris is either going to end up homeless or locked up somewhere, possibly for the rest of his life. And I guess now that the homeless saga is gonna, I guess this is how the homeless saga is gonna start. If he ever does go away for 10 years, and Barb dies while he was away, he is gonna be without a home. He can't be trusted with anything. Chris Chan, in my opinion, is, at this point, he's too unstable to function in society. He's too unstable for anything. The best thing anyone could do for Chris is to, I don't know, place him in a group home somewhere away, but isolate him from everyone else and put him on like a 24/7 observation. And he can't be allowed to use the internet again. That's my opinion.
You're horny, but what the fuck makes you want to fuck your own mother, especially if she's 80 years old and has dementia? The fucking level of fucked off, dude. I can't right now, YouTube.
This is Cobes.
People suck. I need a beer. There are going to be so many...
By the way, this is Cobes' reality check. He's harmless. Cobes is harmless. And the only thing Cobes, I know, he makes wands on Etsy. And he cooks rancid food.
Many people now that when they get in trouble and some dude wants pussy, he's gonna watch. This is how it's gonna play out. Fucking watch. All these assholes that get convicted now are gonna suddenly identify as trans just so they don't have to be in the male prison. And they'll have all that easy access to all that pussy. And it's like, nah, dude, that's whack. I'm not drunk by any means, but I'm definitely starting to feel it. Dude, I wore dresses when I was a kid. I played pretend just like any other kid. But I grew out of it. You know what I'm saying? And it had nothing to do with anything. It was just a kid being a kid, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Oh, fuck. Yeah. A little bit of stomach acid in that burp. That was unpleasant. But nah, YouTube, this is whack. Fuck Chris Chan and fuck the justice system. And you know what's fucked off is that there were kids who probably look up to Chris Chan. And that's just all kinds of messed up.
There are people who defended Chris Chan. Chris Chan, like I said, Chris Chan has had a number of simps who would come to his defense and protect him. I mean, there are the people who are known, there are a group of trolls who act as like gatekeepers for Chris Chan that are dubbed the Watchmen, not relation to the DC comic franchise though, but there have been people who would defend him at the cost because they think he's...
Nope, I don't even want it. Nope, I don't want to have that conversation. Just nope. You know, that's what blows my mind about this whole fucking thing. Is you're more concerned about kids being exposed to tobacco and alcohol.
Chris did... dude, why didn't... Gudtraz Night Course has asked, why did Chris not pay an escort? He had sex with a prostitute a while back. And that's when he lost his virginity, was when he had sex with a prostitute.
Alcohol, than you are them being exposed to sick, disgusting assholes like Chris Chan and cyberbullying. Slow clap for YouTube. You shouldn't have sex till you're in college. That's Cobra's advice.
Yeah.
Once you're in college, you're mature enough to handle the emotional attachments and everything else. Like, that's just the goddamn truth, and I'm not going to go into detail.
This was before, and this, by the way, Gutraz, this was Gutraz Nikor asked, how could someone defend Chris or raping his mom with dementia? This was before people found out about the incest. Well, this was before people found out about the incest. There were people who actually believed in Chris Chan's warped delusions about the dimensional merge. Hell, there are even people who wanted to have sex with him to get the merge going. I am not joking. There was a person named Jacob Sockness who was so obsessed with Chris Chan that he bought a fucking train ticket to Virginia to have sex with him. I am not joking. I wish I was kidding, but Chris Chan has had stalkers too, has had an obsessed fan. And a lot of people were trying to protect Chris from Jacob Sockness because they thought Jacob Sockness was dangerous. And yeah, he does come off as dangerous. I mean, he has like this hatred for humanity, like a pessimistic hatred for humanity. And he wants to he wants to destroy the human race, even though that's fantasy for him. He has claimed that he has killed thousands or millions of people with his dark magic. And he has claimed to have sacrificed homeless people to his war gods. And a group of people thought that Jacob Sockness was a threat to Chris Chan, and they convinced Chris to call off the visit.
Detail with that, because that's just how I feel. But fuck Chris Chan, nasty ass motherfucker. Sending him to a female prison where he has easy access to all the of-age pussy he can get his hands on, that's not going to teach him shit. Sending him to a male prison where he has titties like a female and he could potentially get raped by Big Bubba, getting a taste of his own goddamn medicine, that would...
Because he's a fucking idiot. He doesn't want to off himself. He wants to off the human race. So that he can go home to his home planet of Kitasuna. It's a made-up planet that he made. Jacob Sockness is just like Chris Chan, to the point where he believes in his own fantasies. Like, he wrote several books on the stories of Kitasuna, which almost sound like a ripoff of the movie Jupiter Ascending. And I think this was before that movie came out. It's kind of like some Space Odyssey bullshit, but... And, he talks about wanting to teach Chris how to... This was during, 2019, around the time of 2019, when Jacob gained Chris's favor, and he talked about wanting to teach Chris sex magic to get the merge going.
Teach him a lesson a lot more than anything else. Oh my god, that comment was so stupid, you got banned from my channel. Fuck you. Who the fuck? Seriously, YouTube. There's not enough alcohol in the world to comprehend this shit. Who the fuck says they're gonna fuck their mom who's 80 years old and has dementia? Jesus Christ. At some point in your little excavation, you didn't think to yourself, this is a little fucked off. This is kind of disgusting. Kind of would be putting it lightly, of course. This is it. Fuck Chris Chan, dude.
I agree. Fuck Chris Chan. Fuck him up the ass, long dick style, like Tyrone. He's going down. All the way down. All his fuckers are going down, too. I don't care what happens to Chris Chan. I just know that now that he's fucked up, he's going to hell. He's going to jail. Physical jail. And there's nothing, not even his Sonichu shit is gonna save him this time, because he's gonna end up being someone's prison bitch. And it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just seeing Chris Chan going all the way to the big house.
You want to change in the women's locker room because you're a trans woman? Then you should have all the parts of a lady. A labia, a pussy, a clit, and titties. All the female private parts that a female has, you should have before you're allowed to change in the female locker room. I'll say it again.
I think if I could say this, I think someone's gonna give Chris Chan a proper chili rainbow. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. You look it up on Urban Dictionary. It's spelled CHILI rainbow. Or a proper Portuguese breakfast.
If I had a wife and a female daughter of my own who was underage, and some sick asshole was claiming to be trans and undressing in front of my wife and my daughter, I would fuck that asshole up, dude.
Whoa.
I'd rip his fucking dick off with a meat cleaver and shove it down his goddamn throat and be like, okay, you're transgender, huh? Let's make it more accurate. And people are going to twist this into transphobia. I already fucking know, dude. I don't care.
I don't care anymore. I don't care if people talk shit about me, too. I mean, I've burned bridges with people. I mean, it's fine. But I'm not mad at anyone anymore. It's all about peer pressure when it comes to this shit.
I support trans rights 1,000%. Just don't be a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Don't be a bigot about it, and don't creep on kids. Like, nobody else is going to say it, but I'm going to say it. There are men out there who are claiming to be trans, and
I know. There are men out there who claim to be trans. I just saw a video from last night's show on Adonis Paul's last show last night, and oh my god. Why doesn't anybody speak up about it without having to be ridiculed or being called a transphobe? I mean, we need to stop with this whole issue, because we need to be careful with who the LGBT needs to be careful with who they accept, who they let in, who they can accept, because there are people who will dance around that stigma, and they will use the LGBTQ as an excuse to be a creep. We've seen that with Jessica Yaniv. We've seen that with Stefani Welch. And we've seen that with Chris Chan. There are actual trans people who are still going through the pain of having to transition from one gender to another. And people like Chris Chan, they just get an easy pass because they identify as trans because they are a female soul trapped in a man's body. Jessica Yaniv said the same thing, but the only reason why Jessica Yaniv decided to transition was to get access to the ladies' room, to peep on underage girls.
And getting away with some really fucked off shit, and if you call it out and tell it like it is, you get called a transphobe. But if you support them and their trans rights, real cis women call you a sexist. So it's like you're fucked either way, YouTube. And this is a point I'm...
Like I said, there are people who will there are disgusting creeps who will sneak into the transgender community, the LGBTQ, the transgender community, who will use the transgender label as an excuse to deflect from criticism. There are creeps out there who will tackle on the transgender label. Like I said, Jessica Yaniv was one of those people who abused her status as a transgender person as a way to sue a salon for not waxing her balls. And then go on and make these outrageous arguments to like tribunals, to the Canadian Tribunal, to okay a topless pool party with teenagers, and he'd be the only chaperone there. I mean, she'd be the only chaperone there. I mean, what kind of person does that? What kind of person would use this label for their own? I mean, we need to call these people out instead of uplifting them. We need to call these creeps out because this stigma has gone on far enough and we're becoming too sensitive. It's basically what most people are saying that's an infantilization. This infantilization of the West is becoming out of hand. And someone needs to talk about it.
I made in my fuck Chris Chan video and what have you, is women should be able to feel safe and comfortable in their own changing rooms. Now, granted, yes, men feel uncomfortable in the changing room all the time.
Why do people want to see my schlong is the question.
You see some 85-year-old man powdering his balls, and you're just like, ugh, no, my eyes. Ah. His balls are hanging just above his knees. Got a wrinkly, hairy old man ass. And you're just like, nope. To quote Ron White, the things that make you go, ugh. I'm just waiting for the day when we have a transgendered UFC fighter. So if you want to be transgender, that's your choice. Just don't be a fucking sexist.
Again, I don't have anything against the transgender community. As a matter of fact, I know a few people who are transgender, and I consider them as friends. I consider them good people. I have nothing against transgenders. I just think that we need to be careful with who we accept as transgender. Because, again, some people may mistake that person for someone else, because stigmas are becoming more known, and the line between morality and acceptance is becoming very, very thin. It's becoming blurred. Like, the line is a dot to some people. Like I said, I have some friends who are transgender. I have people on my channel. Some of my subscribers can be considered. There are people who I talk to who are transgender, and they don't act the way Christian acts. Hell, there are a few people that I like on this platform who are transgender, and they don't act like how Christian or Jessica Yenev or Stefani acts like. They're genuine, sweet, nice people.
Fake cunt about it. You know what I'm saying? So give this video a like if you hate pedophiles and sickos. And subscribe for more, because Cobra is not afraid to tell it like it is.
I'm not afraid. I am no longer afraid to tell it like it is anymore. I mean, I have my opinions. I have my thoughts about this whole issue. And honestly, Christian, fuck him. If he does go to prison, then good. He belongs there.
No matter how uncomfortable it may make you.
Yeah, it made me a bit uncomfortable. Speaking of, and now let's move on from Cobes to Rev. I know about the whole, yeah, and that's the thing we should take into consideration, is that there are fake transgender people out there who think that putting on the transgender label is gonna give them a free pass in life. But honestly, it's not gonna. It's disgusting to see that there are people who are so brazen enough to cross the lines. And speaking of crossing the line, Rev News lost his Instagram account because he was spreading misinformation about the COVID vaccine. If you don't remember, Rev said that the COVID vaccine had the mark of Satan. I was listening to FML's stream with scientist Sam, and of course Sam, being a scientist, has more answers and more knowledge about the vaccine and how it's, and the rates of people who refuse to take it. I mean, it is a big country. We're living in a big country here, but there are people on the other side of the globe who don't have access to the vaccines. We're just thankful that we have medical equipment, but people are being hesitant to take the vaccine because they don't know what it's going to do to them. I understand that people are afraid, but would you rather risk another lockdown than take the vaccine? I mean, like I said, too many businesses are still suffering to this day. And we can't risk anything yet. These vaccine mandates might be... I know a lot of people are upset about the mandates. I know a lot of people are pissed that these mandates are going around. But again, in my opinion, it's better to take the vaccine than to risk another lockdown. Even I know a lot of people are saying that the vaccine doesn't protect you against the Delta variant. That's why we need to get those numbers up so that we can prevent another variant. Like, even medical experts are saying that it's impossible to determine the next variant of COVID-19. That we can't predict it, but we can prevent it. And that's why I like to encourage people to take the vaccine. Because it can save other people's lives. You just got to believe in it.
There we go. We got a green. Well, I know now that it does, like, as soon as you hit stream, it does go live.
And speaking of a guy who needs to be in prison right now, here's Revelation News.
So you're gonna hear me. So what's up, folks? It's the Reverend Dude guy. Revelation News. So this is an airing of grievance video. I'm not
Okay, let me...
I'm not gonna do a long diatribe of craziness. I'm just gonna let you know the facts of what happened, and then I'm just gonna air
Christian.
Cause it's a, it's just, it sucks. So I went on my phone and I was just gonna check my notifications, reminders on Instagram, and the app just goes, yeah, we've terminated your account. You have 30 days to appeal. So they asked for a phone number. I gave them our one phone number, and I tried to get back into my account, and it's gone.
I wonder why Rev's Instagram account was terminated. Maybe it's because I said he was spreading misinformation about the vaccine. Because he made a video saying that the vaccine is the mark of the beast. I would expect that sort of mentality from Rev, and I would expect that from Von Helton. And if Jacob Sockness had a YouTube channel, I would expect it from him, because Jacob Sockness, Chris Chan's former stalker, he believes in far right extremist views, except he takes it to the extreme. He is a staunch conservative. Jacob Sockness was a staunch conservative who hates living in California, and he talked about how his fictional self-insert character would obliterate the entire state. I'm neither conservative and I'm neither liberal. I'm moderate. That's why I don't have any say in this matters, because I don't like I don't like these labels at all. I mean, labels are becoming a stigma in our country, in our lifetime. It's like there are people who only deal in absolutes. You're either with them or you're against them. And that's not the type of society I want to live in, or I want to leave behind. That is not the future I want to leave behind. Budding differences. I know. I know. I'm gonna play that later on.
My account is terminated. There was no reason given. You were posting stuff about COVID that gets a lot of people banned. I mean, if that's the reason, then okay. I got a reason. I did not encourage anybody to not get it or get it. It's like either way when we're talking that.
You literally said Christians that receive the vaccine bear the mark of the beast. That's why your account was terminated, because you said that any Christian who takes the COVID vaccine is marked by Satan. I'd expect this type of behavior from Jacob Sockness, who said that if you vote for Joe Biden, you vote for Satan. There have been Twitter posts that were made last year, and he didn't believe that the pandemic was real. He kept referring to it as the fake demic. Not this guy, the furry stalker of Chris Chan. And I will talk more about him in future streams. He's a bit weird. I'll be looking at some of the videos from Sockness before this whole shit started.
My hand to God, I didn't tell anybody to stay away from it or get it.
Yes, you did. You said that you literally told people that if you're Christian and you take the vaccine, then you're marked by Satan. You said that the vaccine was created, well, you didn't say it was created by Satan, but you implied that Bill Gates is the Antichrist.
So, yeah, why would they do that? That's what I'm asking, Tommy. You know, what is that? They don't give a reason. I got no email either. Like, what the hell is that? Then my son says, Instagram is doing this thing where they want your personal information and they're threatening termination. Well, I gave them a number. And then I tried to log into my account and it was gone. My account's gone. You know what I mean?
You don't know why your account was terminated? Are you really that stupid, Jason? Are you really that dumb? Or this is why nobody likes you, Rev. You're just like Gaasuba.
It's crazy. It's really nuts. So I'm just airing grievance. Like, can I please get a reason? But I'm going to assume the obvious of what's been happening to us on other platforms.
Trolls.
Like here on YouTube, okay?
Yes, blame the trolls.
I'm going to assume that it's a bunch of people false flagging for CA. Okay, I can't even say the words without getting flagged. They're
child abuse. No, it's not that. It's because you were basically going off on your weird conspiracy theory bullshit, your QAnon bullshit. And social media doesn't take that lightly. I mean, look what happened to Von Helton. He had his YouTube channel terminated.
False flagging for CA. Kids. Okay, that's what they're doing. So what
it's
can
not
I do?
that.
Nothing. I could appeal, but they'll say, well, this is what these people are claiming. I want a court.
I guess you could be a better person, but I guess that's too much for you. I agree.
At this point, I really do. I want a courtroom to prove my innocence.
You were never innocent to begin with in the first place. This is why I've compared Rev and Shanny to Chris Chan in the past. Is because, much like Chris Chan, Rev and Shanny cannot, for the life of them, take responsibility for their actions. So they just like to lie to save face and say it's everyone's fault that they're in trouble. The only difference is Rev and Shanny have never fucked their moms. At least we don't know if Rev didn't fuck his mom. when she was dying.
I bet you're right. If talking about COVID. Well, see, I never encouraged or discouraged.
Yes, you did.
So why would I be taken off for that?
You were spreading misinformation. You were trying to convince people not to take the vaccine because you thought it was the mark of Satan. Because people like you, people like G-Man, and people like Von Helton are encouraging people not to take the vaccine. That's why you were deplatformed, you dumb fuck. We're already dealing with a bunch of fucking morons who refuse to take the vaccine because they listen to people like you! People who are just as mentally fucked up as you!
That doesn't make sense. I mean, if that's the case, that I'm even saying anything about it, I'm talking about it in general, then that's censoring my speech. You're at a point of censoring free speech at that point.
It's not free speech, it's misinformation! Why can't you get that through your fucking thick skull, you fucking mongoloid? I'm sorry if I was yelling, but God damn it. These guys are so fucking insufferable.
Which I think is definitely happening with this situation, and I've already said what I believe about it.
You know,
if it's not the mark itself, then it's going to be the thing that leads to it. The COVID passports and all this. That's definitely where it's going.
Oh, fuck you, Rev. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You are so fucking retarded. And I am sorry if I use that word in a wrong context, but god damn it, you are fucking retarded. Because Shani made you retarded. You're just on the same level as G-Man and Von Helton.
If you want to talk prophecy, revelation, news stuff, without a doubt. I have no doubt in my mind that this thing is connected to that.
Then you must be hearing voices. And yes, I do think in some way or form is that Rev was hearing voices. Because he has admitted in the past that he does hear voices. So it wouldn't fucking surprise me if what he is saying is probably his mind playing tricks on him. Because he does have what I believe is schizotypal disorder. He could be schizophrenic.
And you can see the fear in people's faces. And the people that get stuck just act completely different. I mean, they really do. There's no doubt about that. But I didn't get any email. I got no notice. I got nothing. All I did is come to my phone and flip it on Instagram and it's gone. I don't understand what was false about the flags. What did they accuse you of? I can't say the words. You're not allowed to have an opinion about the CB. That's right, Ingrid. You're correct. Why can't these people just leave you and Shani alone? All you're doing is trying to get money for your family. That's very correct.
Your money, and by money, you're eBay. Oh, don't you mean you were e-begging for money? You were e-begging to your niche of simps who don't even know the full story, who just go by what you say because Shani said so.
Marie, if that's how you say your name. That's very extremely correct. But I mean, other people are allowed to do this. Me and my wife, for some reason, aren't. But this is the book that I call my book, and I want to put my hand on this and swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in court.
You mean that Bible that you had customly made for you?
so that I can clear my name of all of this shit. Because people on the internet have decided to go way too far and just slander and slander and slander and false flag and false flag. I'm going to tell you what the false flags are.
They're going to...
It's not treating kids right. And there is always an option to flag videos for that.
Which isn't false. You've recorded so much. Yes, there's recorded evidence of you berating Zachary. And you called him stupid. And you made fun of him. And you threatened to murder those kids. You fucking imbecile. Hello, J-Rod.
On all platforms, because it is a problem. You don't want kids, in trouble. Let this man use his meth in peace. Thanks for that.
Meth?
Good job, Betta Boy. Thank you. So, what I'm saying basically is just, like, could I get a reason? And I'm just airing grievance and saying that my speech in this country that's under God, under this book, the Creator, is violating my rights that are given by God. It's a First Amendment issue.
It's not about the First Amendment. It's about the fact that you're lying to people and spreading misinformation on shit you don't understand. You're spreading your weird conspiracy bullshit on your Instagram channel, and big tech corporations don't take that lightly. They're not going to get you off scot-free.
I'm being silenced for no reason. The only reason that you really could silence anyone's speech in this country is if they give that away. If you give it away, if you give your rights away, either voluntarily on your own accord and just say, I want to be a slave, or...
That's not what this is about, you fucking idiot.
Your rights have been taken for a reason, i.e. murder, homicide, you're in jail, that type of deal. My speech is free.
It's always... This is the thing I hate about these staunch conservatives. These conspiracy theory, conservatard, QAnon fuckheads. Is that they think they deserve to have the right to speech, but they're just spreading their bullshit to other platforms. And you know what? It hurts other people because there are some stupid motherfuckers gonna take what you say literally and do something fucked up. And it's gonna be on your head, Rev.
Tax-paying American here. Yeah, years, paid lots of taxes, okay? I have the right to speak.
No, it's
as long as I have a microphone.
No, that's not Rob Zombie's son. That's Von Helton's son.
You can hear me speak. But
that's Chris Chan's son.
What's happening? My microphone's being silenced by platforms over politically correct cancel culture bullshit. And it's ridiculous, and the companies involved, such as Google, will be sued massively. And there's going to be huge lawsuits because you're violating the First Amendment of the country on the Constitution, that great God-inspired document.
Oh my God, you're fucking stupid. You're not gonna sue Google. With what money? You're dirt poor. You're gonna be homeless. You're gonna be homeless soon. And what are you gonna sue people on? You're not gonna win. Google has billions, has a number of lawyers that are gonna countersue you because You're a fucking idiot. I hate this argument saying, oh, Google's going to be sued and we're going to win. We're going to get money. This is about money.
Constitution of our country. You're violating the very First Amendment, a God-given right of speech and to be heard and seen when you want to be.
Don't you mean too good, Panda?
And there are many Americans that this has happened to, some more successful than others. That
like Alex Jones?
You know their names, like AJ.
Alex Jones? Dude, Alex Jones is a fucking lunatic. Alex Jones is fucking crazy. And I believe Alex Jones might be retarded. I mean, he went on Joe Rogan's podcast and smoked a few doobies, and then he flat out admitted that he was retarded. Or he might be retarded. So, I think Rev might be retarded too. If he just went on...
Absolutely. Lives destroyed mostly, but they're trying to hang on by a fucking thread to feed their family.
You don't do anything. You just sit around, preach about your conspiracy bullshit, and you simp for a morbidly obese, narcissistic sociopath who doesn't even take care of her kids.
So I want to thank everybody that has donated to these addresses down here. I would like to thank you very much. Your help is appreciated. I will operate on this platform as long as I can, but I could literally just not see you one day.
Good. Goodbye. No one wants to see you anymore. No one's gonna miss you when you're gone. No one will miss you. You're repugnant, Jason. Go fuck yourself.
And I'm gone again.
Yes.
Here today, gone tomorrow. Such a beautiful concept in the reality that is the New World Order and the Beast.
Oh my god. You're preaching that whole communistic bullshit. I mean, I would expect this shit from Von Helton. But from you, yeah, I would expect that. Are you sure you're not Von Helton's son, Rev? Because you look just like him. Are you sure you're not Von Helton from a different timeline? Maybe you're Von Helton's variant.
Coming to get you, but if you have Jesus Christ, you're free and clear already, folks. Do you understand that?
You know how many times Rev preaches about the second coming of Christ? He basically preaches about Christ's second coming as much as Chris Chan preaches about the dimensional merge. Revelation News preaches about the second coming of Christ as much as Chris Chan would preach about the dimensional merge. He knows nothing about the religion he proudly represents. He knows nothing about his own religion. He knows nothing about the Bible. Jason William Egroff, or Revelation News, is a fucking idiot.
Pretty good place to be in. Jesus bless y'all.
I know. Maybe he's gonna try and hire, fucking... Anyway, let's look at that phone call. That Chris Chan phone call. Oh, this was in 2014, sorry. My bad.
I'd say as early as 2008, I've had a bunch of theoretical exits through the internet where it was mostly guys.
Yeah, it was a bunch of trolls pretending to be girls interested in you, Chris.
Mostly guys or a group of individuals pretending to be women.
Trolls.
Genuinely interested in me. And
They were trolls, pretending to be girls interested in you to get you to do fucked up shit like shoving a medallion up your ass.
And took advantage of my naivete and my kind nature.
You were never kind to begin with, Chris.
Essentially, throughout all that day,
And speaking of an idiot, here's Chris Chan's prison call.
blackmailed, conned, and tricked me out of a whole bunch of information and sensitive content.
Yeah, the trolls kind of told Chris Chan to shove a medallion up his ass, fuck his PlayStation 3, and drive all the way to Ohio to rescue Julie. Or I should say, Julie! Julie! Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's Josh Moon. He's infamous for that act for that online moniker bid no.
Joshua Moon is the creator of Kiwi Farms, and he's been trying to support Chris, but now that's over.
And he was working with me on a positive front, but
He was trying to get money for you to go to BronyCon.
then he betrayed me in the sense on recent terms.
The reason why he betrayed you was because you stole money from your own mother. And because of the allegations against you.
So a lot of people think that this is a fake.
That's a whole different thing I'm not going to go into right now.
The merge.
Oh, alright. You want okay, that's your first question. Alright.
Yeah, the merge.
Well, I'll be happy to tell you about that. Okay, so
The reason why Chris Chan was preaching about the dimensional merge was because two trolls who went by the moniker the Idea Guys, and they told Chris that Quickville exists in another dimension. They were using Rick and Morty based logic, and they kind of roped Chris into this belief that there are alternate realities. And of course, they said that Quickville was invaded by Nazis. And they got Chris to do outrageous things, like punch his mother. And don't get me wrong, trolls have made Chris Chan do a lot of outrageous things. As I said before, as I've stated before, there have been trolls pretending to be Chris's friends in real life. People like the Teen Troon Squad, who videotaped Chris Chan humping his pillow while singing All Star by Smash Mouth badly. And pissing on the floor.
a long time ago, starting from the beginning here, in about 1380, King Arthur became tired of dealing with the dragons and mythical and overpowered creatures, so he ordered Merlin to remove all
This is Von Helton levels of crazy.
all them known that you could think of would separate the one whole universe, which is this one and our sister half, formerly known as 13211.
I thought it was C-1987. Yeah. I don't know, man. This is just fucked up. I mean, the fact that Chris Chan is still going on with his beliefs even when he's in prison shows the level of fucked up this is. And honestly, I have no sympathy for him. None. Anyway, moving on from Chris Chan and Rev to this. I was going to do a video on this guy, but I guess I can save it for later on because I'm gonna take a look at Gaasuba, because I promised Reality Check that I was gonna take a look at Gaasuba's craziness. And I promised I was gonna bring a girl. I was gonna bring one of my friends on. Reality Check, are you still in the audience? All right, I'm gonna. All right. Time to send the invite. Anyway.
Read that. How does that read to you?
Oh, hey.
That read as substitute the rice for lettuce instead, or substitute the lettuce for rice instead?
Oh. Are you talking to someone?
I saw the problem. They're fucking stupid, illiterate, can't speak English. Do you read lettuce substitute for rice? Do you read that as take out the lettuce and substitute it with rice? Or do you read that as take the lettuce out, take the rice out and substitute it for lettuce? I think that's what they did to me. The lettuce for rice. I'm laughing, seriously. You don't understand what it says. Lettuce substitute for rice. I added lettuce substitute for rice. God, why am I here? Stop! Dude, take me offline.
My bad. Sorry about that, Reality Check. Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. My bad. Anyway, if you want to... you don't have to come on here if you don't want to. I mean, I know you're busy right now, but... I know you're sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, Reality Check. But if you want to, like... Sorry about that, Reality Check. But I'm going to be talking about the issue with Gaasuba, and then I'm going to move on to Foodie Booty. All right.
So our friends that we're staying with still have not gotten their paychecks in the mail for some heckin' reason. And I am still waiting on my food stamps. Both of those things would be immensely helpful. Some friends of ours had to send us a few bucks to help keep the lights on while we wait. I made the first phone call that starts the process of qualifying for disability this morning, and I had my first therapy call with my therapist at Alliance. I don't know why, but the video I uploaded today, like an actual project instead of just vlog, for some reason YouTube defaulted to uploading it with the comments off. I had to go into like the studio.
Yeah, this is not. Oh, good. Yeah, Uber Eats. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, Uber Eats. That's why I don't do Uber Eats. That's why I don't do those delivery things. Unless if it's a necessity, then yeah. But sometimes I don't trust them. I don't usually trust delivery that much. Unless if it's genuine. If it's on Uber Eats, if it's on like an app like Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash, I can be very skeptical because it's all about location. There are no places that can deliver in my area. I live in a rural part of Arizona. And, anyway. That's pretty much what I was going to say. So, God, I'm freaking hungry.
So our friends that we're staying with still have not gotten their paychecks in the mail for some heckin' reason. And I am still waiting on my food stamps.
Fucking hell. God fucking damn it, Gaasuba. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it gets worse. I mean, this bitch is so she's so irreprehensible. It's not even funny anymore. I mean, I can pull up the comment that Reality Check made on Gaasuba's behalf. And we have never, and I agree, nobody, well actually, some people have attacked her looks, but it's not about the looks. It's about how she presents herself on camera. And she is open to criticism, but instead of taking the criticism in strides, she would rather blame everybody and act as the victim and say it's everyone's fault that she's like this. Like, kind of like Adrasdea. And I know that Reality Check is a good person. I mean, she's a sweet person. I mean, I was listening to her stories, her story when I had her in Discord earlier, and I mean, from what the looks of it, she sounds like she's got a good head on her shoulders. Unlike Gaasuba here. And frankly, what is there to be jealous of? If it wasn't for the fact that she's wasting her potential and wasting her potential by leeching off of the generosity of the people she's staying with. But it's the fact that that she's taking advantage of other people and using them for her own selfish needs. It's she's sponging off the people who pay the rent there, and sponging off of the supporters and nothing more. Just be glad she doesn't have kids, because she is not prepared. And yes, I'm basically reading Reality Checks' comments. But everything Reality Checks said to her is something I would say. I mean, is what I would agree with. And I hope to God that she doesn't have any kids. I hope to God that she doesn't become a mother, because again, she can't even take care of herself, and she expects other people to take care of her. Get out of here with that shit.
Both of those things would be immensely helpful. Some friends of ours had to send us a few bucks to help keep the lights on while we wait. I made the first phone call that starts the process of qualifying for disability this morning, and I had my first therapy call with my therapist at Alliance.
The timelines here are fucked.
I don't know why, but the video I uploaded today, like an actual project instead of just vlog, for some reason YouTube defaulted to uploading it with the comments off. I had to go into the
Gaasuba, no, you turned the comments off because you didn't want to hear what Reality Check had to say about you. I mean, you've had the potential to be a better person. You just choose not to.
Studio editing app to fix it. I don't know why it did that. I'm glad I was able to fix it. I was worried that, like, there was something in the title or description or something that had...
At least you know how to read. At least you know how to edit. Maybe you should have put those talents to good use and find, like, a career in, I don't know, marketing or voice work. You could have made a lot of money instead of sponging off of the people that took you in, along with your butt buddies.
I don't know, made the algorithms concerned. But nah, my troll romance explanation is fine, and comments can be put on it. That's good.
I'm gonna be looking at that video
I started
later
few
on.
projects today. You should see those on my
OnlyFans?
Patreons.
No one goes to her Patreons. Nobody goes to her Patreons because it's bullshit. All of this is just fucking bullshit. And I know, I'm just so fucking hungry right now. I mean, I've only eaten a few bites. But after the stream, I'm going to get something to eat. Or actually, I could just pause this.
Soon, I guess.
Or mute
if
myself.
You pitch me $1. Yeah, I guess that's basically everything that I have to say for today. Nothing big and important other than cleaning and stuff. So, talk to you guys later, I guess.
Look.
When the subject of troll romance is broached, our sparing human intellects instantly assume the most ingratiating posture of surrender imaginable, but we will do our best to understand regardless. Humans have only one form of romance, and though we consider it a complicated subject spanning a wide range of emotions, social conventions, and implications for reproduction, it is ultimately a superficial slice of what trolls consider the full body of romantic experience. Our concept of romance, in spite of its capacity to fill our art and literature and to rule our individual destinies like little else, is still just that, a singular, linear concept. usually denoted by a single symbol. Troll romance is more complicated than that. Troll romance needs 4 symbols. Their understanding of romance is divided into halves and halved again, producing 4 quadrants. The flushed quadrant, the colliginous quadrant, the pale quadrant, and the ashen quadrant. Each quadrant is grouped by the half they share, whether horizontally or vertically, depending on the overlapping properties one examines. The sharpest dichotomy, from an emotional perspective, is drawn between red romance and black romance. Red romance, comprised of the flushed and pale quadrants, is a form of romance rooted in strongly positive emotions. Black romance, which its colliginous and ashen quadrants, is rooted in the strongly negative. On the other hand, the vertical bifurcation has to do with the purpose of the relationship, regardless of the emotions behind it. Those quadrants, which are concupiscent, the flushed and colliginous, have to do with facilitating the elaborate reproductive cycle of trolls. Those which are conciliatory, the pale and ashen, would be more closely linked to platonic relationships by human standards. There are many parallels between human relationships and the various facets of troll romance. Humans have words to describe relationships of a negative nature or of a platonic nature. The difference is, for humans, those relationships would never be conceptually grouped with romance. Establishing those sorts of relationships for humans is not driven by the same primal forces that drive our tendency to couple romantically, but for trolls, those primal forces involve themselves in the full palette of these relationships, red or black, torrid or friendly. Trolls typically feel strongly compelled to find balance in each quadrant and seek gratifying relationships that each describes. The challenge is particularly torturous for young trolls who must reconcile the wide range of contradictory emotions associated with this matrix, while understanding the nature of their various romantic urges for the first time. Of course, young humans have this challenge too, but for trolls, the challenge is fourfold. When 2 individuals find themselves in the flushed quadrant together, they are said to be mate spirits. Mate spirits is the closest parallel to human concept of romance trolls have. It plays a role in the troll's reproductive cycle just as it does for humans. This is pretty obvious, not much more needs to be said about this. Moving right along. When a pair of adversaries delve into the colliginous quadrant, they become each other's kismesis. As one of the concupiscent quadrants, it plays a role in procreation as well. There is no particularly good human translation for this concept. The closest would be an especially potent arch rivalry. The ashen quadrant involves a particular type of 3-way relationship of a black romantic nature. Falling on the conciliatory side, it has no bearing on the reproductive cycle except for indirect ramifications. When 2 trolls are locked in a feud or some otherwise contentious relationship, one can intervene and become their auspicious. The auspicious mediates between the 2, playing the role of a peacekeeper, preventing the feud from boiling over into a fully colliginous rivalry. Since such lesser feuds are quite common among trolls, there's a significant need for auspicing parties. Without them, too many ashen feuds would become colliginous and begin to conflict with other exclusive kismesis relationships, leading to a great deal of societal complexity and sore feelings, even...
I'm sorry to hear that, Reality Check. I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, look, if you don't feel like going on, I'm not going to fault you for that. I'm just saying, you're always welcome here, Reality Check. You're always welcome here.
More so than black romance usually involves. Without auspisticism, the result would be widespread black infidelity. The relationships each quadrant describes tend to be malleable, if not volatile.
Honestly, I would like to give you a virtual hug. Bring it in.
Especially on the concupiscent half, where more torrid emotions reside. It doesn't take much to flip a switch and transmute black rom feelings to red rom, and vice versa. In many cases, one party will have red feelings while the other has black, but it will often be the case that one party's feelings will swap to match the other's, since there is no quadrant which naturally accommodates such a disparity. But thereafter, it's not uncommon for the two to toggle between red and black in unison now and then. These scenarios naturally result in both red and black infidelities. This sort of relationship volatility is why conciliatory relationships are an important...
Just let me set up my shit. There you are.
There I am. I am so very sorry and remarkably embarrassed about that. Wow.
You're good. You're fine.
Oh my God. Yeah, I would go into the whole fiasco of what was actually going on. But you remember what I said earlier about sometimes it's easier to just give like a simple answer like, yeah, I graduated that year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, woo. Like, let me mute this. Hang on. Woo. It's getting the feedback. You're going to hear that echo. Sorry about that. So you remember earlier I was saying, like, it's just easier to sometimes just say something that's like where it's like, yeah, I did this, blah. Instead of actually giving a half-hour-long lecture on what really happened, because it's just, nobody cares. Nobody cares, right?
I guess.
Yeah, well, I would give you the 30-minute explanation of what was actually going on with the food drama with our stupid Nick the Greek order here, because it was pretty insane. Everything from leaving my son's entire dinner out to screwing up both of ours. It was a nightmare. And we were just like so confused because we don't normally order Greek food. That's like, you know, what do I know? I'm Irish. I'm not Greek. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't ordered Greek food in like 5 years, you know? So going into the explanation would just be pointless drivel. All I can do is apologize for embarrassing myself because,
You're
like
good.
I said, when we talk, I'm
It's
usually the one
okay.
doing all the talking, and Joe's like nodding and like, yeah, and looking for, you know.
It's okay.
Yeah. I so appreciate that. Thank you. Your fans are going to think I'm the stupidest bitch in the world.
I don't
But
have
it's
that
okay.
much fans to say that.
Woo, it was a comedy of errors tonight. You just happened to send like an invite right when like I had no idea where my earbuds were. I didn't know where the phone was because we had phones spread out like whole tea stuff.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
It's a lot. So, Gaasuba.
I'm just looking at this video, the one where she's talking about
Yeah.
I know, but she does have the potential of doing this stuff. She just chooses
Does
not
she
to.
not?
Yeah.
Thank you. You know what? I'm going to give her just a little bit of a nod here that maybe she's not a bitch who shut down maybe she didn't just shut down the comments, because if you go to that video, there's no comments, correct? If you scroll up, comments turned off, yes?
Yeah. Maybe
Okay.
something happened with that.
I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because I did get, in fact, a notification with her responding to me And you know how it'll show you the flash and you have to click on it to see the full response if it's long? And for once, she gave me a long response. But when I click on it, I get a blank screen because her damn comments are off. So what she wrote that you cannot see is, at Reality Check, if you search Gaasuba, you can probably find my voice acting on Tumblr. The issue is being stable enough to do those works. Link me specific, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's where it cuts off. I don't know what the fuck she said. I click the link and it takes me to a big white blank screen because she apparently isn't bright enough to understand she turned her damn comments back up. And in this video, she says somewhere in this video that when she uploaded it, it had turned her comments off and she didn't know why. She had to amend her visit.
That was the one I showed earlier. That was the one I showed earlier.
Okay. Well, she did it again. So she intended for these comments to be on. I commented. It did show. When I commented, there was no comments on there, but it showed one comment in the number count, right? But when I clicked top comment or most recent comment, you saw nothing. So I assume that she deleted it or hid it, or it was a blocked person. Because said one comment, but you saw nothing. So I left my comment, thought, let's see what happens. And I left my comment, which I've shown you. I sent you a screenshot of it. I had a feeling, because of what she said, that my comment would disappear because it's happened before. So I screenshot it as soon as I posted. Because I wasn't being mean, man. I wasn't trolling her this time. For once, I wasn't trying to get her goat. No pun intended, all right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it went missing. I just assumed that she's just such a lazy bitch that she was like, and she's telling me where I can make money by sitting on my fat ass and making my own hours. Meh, I don't want that. So I assumed she deleted me, right? And then I get this comment from her, and I'm thinking, oh my God, she actually doesn't know her comments are turned off, and I can't respond. So, Gaasuba, honey, if you're out there, if you are listening to me right now, sweetheart, your comments are turned off, and I will respond to you politely if you turn your comments back on manually. I will give you the link that you are requesting to where I found, in fact, you know what, fuck it, voice.com, bitch, go there, okay, voice.com, you can find all sorts of different voice jobs where you can freelance. In fact, go to fiverr.com, create an account, FIVRR, I think, FIVRR or FIVERR, I don't know, I've never worked there, but I have paid for services there. I absolutely have.
Voice.com,
and so, Fiverr's a great place. Almost anything you do, you can do it there. In fact, if you think you're qualified to teach a class in something, you could probably do it at that, oh my God, what's the name of that place? Everybody gets sponsored on YouTube by that place that does classes online. Like, my mind's drawing a blank because it's been quite a hectic evening.
Audible?
No, not Audible, but you know what? She might be able to go and shop there too. This was not aces. This was what I would call B- work. But you know what? B- work is good. B- work is good amateur work. And if your best effort for just amateur first effort is B-, that's fantastic. So if her reading skills for voice acting, with air quotes, voice acting, that's not exactly acting, it's just reading, right? Mm-hmm. But if her reading skills, and you know what, I know I've got, excuse me, I have sinus problems, I am nasally as hell, I sound like I have a whiny voice, I know this.
Me too.
A lot of us, we have whiny, nasally, we know this, we're not stupid. That's why I don't listen to my voice on recordings,
Exactly.
The minute my husband's like, is that your voice? I was like, oh, gross, my voice. Ew. Because I can hear my nasally, whiny voice coming back at me on the screen. I almost died because I was already upset. Yeah.
Same here. I
feel you. and it's rough. I even had adenoid surgery like a million years ago. I had adenoid surgery to remove, like, and I believe I believe it's coming back. So my adenoids, they told me it could grow back. I have like aggressive adenoids. That's such a sexy thing to admit in public, but yeah, I have adenoid problems, and that causes me to have this like nasally lack of resonance in my voice, and I hate it. I just absolutely, I can sing good, but when I'm speaking, Lord help me, don't ever let me listen to my own recorded voice because I will go cry and fall in a hole. I can't stand it. But that aside, this girl has an excellent reading voice. She has resonance. She has timing. She is able to enunciate actual complicated words that have difficult pronunciation. I have a master's in English, specifically in American and British literature, okay? I graduated with a 3.98 GPA. I graduated with my bachelor's in the same degree with summa cum laude, meaning the top first percent of my graduating class, all right? So I know what I'm talking about when I speak about things like phonetics, when I speak about language in English, when I talk about linguistics, when I'm talking about language arts as a profession. I actually know what I'm talking about because that was my profession for many, many, many years. And I if I weren't currently a professional stay-home mom running a successful small business from home, I would do it. I would go back to it if those jobs were abundant. But because of course, the situation with COVID, etc., they're not looking for new teachers right now, and I'm not looking for that kind of heavy load for low pay because teaching at the college level pays garbage. The first year I taught for an entire year as a single mother, I made $1,300 a month in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's how college teachers get rewarded, all right? That's how we get rewarded for getting 6-7 years of graduate education with high honors to teach advanced degree stuff. And I taught to the people that need it the most. I did not teach at Ivy Leagues, all right? I taught to the people that scored the lowest, and I taught the hardest thing to teach, which is college English composition, prepping for 3 terms in 1 year for 17 to 19-year-olds who were at high risk high school levels, all right? So, it was rough. This was rough, but I loved my students and I loved what I did, but man, it was the hardest kind of teaching job you could do. And it paid me $1,300 a month, and my rent at the time was $1,500, and I had a $600 car note and a kid. So you can tell where that went. Teachers do not get rewarded. Students do not get rewarded for their hard work. And it is hard work. Exactly. And I've seen you are a college student. So that was the first time I saw your bio listed as college student. I'm like, I'm going to like this guy. I'm going to like this guy because I was a professional college student for a long time, while working full time, raising kids. But I definitely sympathize with that, and I resonate with it, okay? So I love that you're a college student.
Yeah, I'm going back. Hopefully I'll go back next year to finish my associate's degree. That way I can
awesome.
trade it in for like a master's in something else.
Yeah. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing.
I know.
I went back to school myself. I was 29 when I started college, and I had not been to school since I was 15. I know I mentioned this to you earlier. I'm like, it's just earlier to say this when I graduated school. Okay, well, I'm going to admit in public, I did not physically graduate at the age of 18 in 1990 because I had a couple of meth-addicted alcoholic parents that were abusing me physically, sexually, and mentally. And I had to go homeless and sleep in garages and on the streets. I did everything but prostitution because I'm a little bit more, I don't know, ingenuous than Mary is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not Gaasuba and Mary in the sense that, like, I can do a lot of things for money that are on the level that don't involve removing my clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Got me? Like, no disrespect to those that are in sex industry, but I ain't one of them. But when I was 14, I was on the streets. I had junkies for parents. They were abusive. I caught myself in a stream on a weekend about a week or so ago in Virginia. Okay, he was talking with Kathy, and he was talking about Adrasdea, and it was the stream where he was addressing Adrasdea's little scar with the rat bites around. Oh, look at that bitch! And chewed my little baby leg. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
And somebody in the comments said that probably is a cigarette burn. And without even thinking, I just blurted out with my phone. I type like super fast. I type like 120 minutes. Excuse me, 72 a minute. I do type without errors. 72 to 76 words a minute with errors about 102. Okay, so I just typed out and brain vomited into the chat. I said, oh, that doesn't look anything like a cigarette burn. My dad put a cigar out on the back of my hand when I was 2, and it doesn't look anything like that. And then Virgie read it out loud, and I heard him say it, and I'm like, oh, fuck, what's wrong with me? Like, how am I so adjusted to what my parents did to me that I'm just like, that was nothing. I don't even remember it. No PTSD for me. Lol. And I sound like a freaking nut saying that. I really do, and I acknowledge that. I don't sound like a normal person saying my father put a damn cigar out on my hand when I was 2, and lol, no PTSD. Like, that's not normal. But what that is that's a sign of how incredibly traumatized and abused I was. That it's just normal. But I have put insane amounts of effort in my life to raise 4 children, 2 that were not mine, to be healthy, well-adjusted, functioning and contributing members of the society and healthy people who know how to love others and themselves.
True.
3 of them are fully cooked in their 20s. 1 even has a child of her own, not my biological, but my stepdaughter, my eldest. She's has her own baby now, and God bless her. She was the one I was the most worried about out of the 4. And one of mine is still cooking. He's only 12, but he's the one I am the most proud of right this minute because he has overcome so much more than all 4 of them, And, I can leave this world not giving a damn whatever happened to me and all my CPTSD, which, by the way, is complex, not compound. I don't know what the fuck compound is. I can leave this world knowing that it doesn't matter. I don't have to spend my days sniffling 20 times, 1 sniffle per 6 seconds. I don't have to do that. Thinking about how sad my little pathetic life is. Well, I can sit here thinking, well, I worked my ass off in pain for this. I worked my way through that. I got myself in college in spite of being forced to drop out so I could support myself and a crackhead boyfriend in 1989. I did a lot. And I came a long way. And the amount of things I overcame, when I think about it, I don't know how I did it. But what matters to me today are 2 things: my children and my college degrees, because I worked really hard. I worked really hard after being told I was stupid. I was told for years by my own mother that I was too stupid to do anything. And I proved her wrong. I did. I proved her wrong. And that's the greatest reward for me. Not getting revenge, not ruining her name like Adrasdea is trying to do to Kathy. Like, what? How's it gonna benefit me to hurt someone else to make them feel the pain I feel, especially if maybe they are a narcissist and can't feel that pain, How does that benefit me? while going out and proving that person wrong without ever naming them or interacting with them, not acknowledging them, and just going out and earning multiple college degrees with honors and achievement, my own personal achievement for my own self to prove to my children this is how life is done right. Okay?
Exactly.
That is my greatest reward. I don't care. Exactly. Thank you. I don't care if my parents ever acknowledge what they did. That's on them. They have a higher power to answer to, and it ain't me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care what other people say about me. I mean, yes, I've burned bridges with people in other communities that I've been a part of. And yeah.
Right.
And I don't care what they say about me. As long as I do what I do and continue on, none of that matters. I
agree. And, I have seen some of your art. I have listened to your content. I have seen you talking in chats. And you have left nothing but positive vibes on me. I have been very, very happy and proud to know you. And, I feel blessed to be on your good list, okay? I really do. I do.
Thank you.
So yeah, I still to this day, I just don't believe that lashing out to hurt others to make their pain equal yours, or trying to do that, like what Mary does, and even Gaasuba does that to some point. I don't understand that. I don't understand that mindset. Maybe I have a screw loose. I don't know. I don't get it.
I've seen this happen before with people like you saw me. You see me cover Shani and Rev, right?
Oh yeah, God. Oh boy, aren't they a fucking train wreck? Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't understand why they think it's so necessary to lash out at other people when they're living in squalor, sponging off of the generosity of people who don't even know their full story.
Correct. Correct.
When Shani had her channel terminated, I mean, there have been instances where we find out that, she's not being truthful. She never is truthful. Especially when they're recording. Especially then when the recordings of Jason, Rev, verbally abusing Shani's autistic son.
3 times threatened to murder her boys. 3 times. And what was her reaction? We don't have money for gas. You can't go anywhere. Like, bitch, please. If that were somebody telling me I need to leave or I'm going to murder your children, I would be like, let me show you the door. Let me call 911 on your way out. I will get you a ride. Like, are you serious? He 3 times threatened to kill her children.
3 times in one stream. And then...
Correct.
And when they were on the road, when they moved to... Because they couldn't even bring their... They couldn't even bring their stuff along with them. I don't know if you... I don't know if you were there, but I'm pretty sure Daywave Radio or someone showed those clips of the apartment.
Oh, honey, I was in the live stream. I was literally in the live stream that morning when the whole Gavin the cat is on the floor. That's gonna die. That whole stream where Rev got out of the car, he pulled over on the side of the highway like an absolute retard. If you ever hear this, Jason, Jenny was right. You are fucking stupid to pull over a car on a fucking interstate. What are you, retarded? You do not do that over a cat. Let the cat die. Don't pull over on the side of an interstate and risk getting your entire family killed over having a cat on the floor of the car. You absolute imbecile. You stupid, stupid child. Wow. So that was what it was over, because they tried to force this 12-year-old autistic boy to hold a sketchy cat from Colorado to Pennsylvania in his lap. Now, again, I think I've told you in private, I have a son who has about the same level of autism spectrum disorder as Zach is. And my little boy is 4 years younger. Now, what I did not tell you is I was so, like, before the abuse happened, I was so blown out of my mind with the size of these children. I was like, my son was in the room with me. I don't want to watch all this drama and all this. I don't want to watch all the bad stuff that's really inappropriate for children. But we were watching, like, part of the road trip together, he and I, right? It was the morning. Like, what's wrong with that, right? Just because Shanny and Rev are inappropriate, children in the car, I didn't think anything that insane would happen, you know? So here's my son. He's about to turn 12 at the time. He was still 11, almost 12. And we're watching. I said, you know, see your boys? I said, you know, I know one's older than the other. I know one of them's like 12. I don't know how old the other one is. And I said, I'm guessing the tall one's 12 and the young one's like 9. And my son's like, yeah, that looks
Actually,
about right.
Zachary's
Honestly.
12 and William is 14.
Oh, I know. And the other one's 14. That's the point. Because my son is very, like, 50 percentile. He's always been on the 50th percentile since he was a toddler. So my son is exactly average, and he'll say it himself. He is the smallest. He eats like a horse, but he is the smallest kid in his class every year. We also live in an area where a lot of the kids are well over the median. We live in a low-income area. Not going to blame it on anything in particular, but we just happen to live in an area where the students in this class from kindergarten through 6th grade were all well above 50th percentile, mostly like leaning in the overweight area, if you know what I mean. Like a lot of big kids. And so my son being on the 50th percentile was always, since kindergarten, he's always been, well, kindergarten was close to the same size, but since like 2nd grade, he has clearly been the smallest child in his class. But the doctor always like takes his measurements every year, says he's in the 50th percentile. All right? So my son is average. He's average size. And those children, I'm telling you, Will is the size of my son. And the 12-year-old who turns out to be 4 months older than my son turned 12 in July. That little boy, Zach, who is also autistic like my son, he turned 12 in, I think, April. And he's like 4 months older than my little boy. And both my son and I thought that child looked 9. He looked 9 to us. And Will, the 14-year-old, who I think he turned 14 in May, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did.
That boy, yeah, he looks the same size as my son, who is at the 50th percentile for a 12-year-old. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just saying what it is, because you know what? When I cook at home, I don't try and panhandle for money with my tits laying on the stove like Jenny. And when the food is cooked, I make sure my son eats before I do.
Exactly.
Instead of handing it to an emaciated crackhead boyfriend so he can make
of a boyfriend.
the most worthless fucking mukbangs in the world. You ever watch those mukbangs?
I saw those.
That made me want to go back to anorexia.
Oh my god. I cannot
I'm
believe
not joking. That made me, like, that triggered my ED to never want to eat again. Watching that man eat makes me want to never eat again. And I'm somebody who gets hungry when I watch Nikocado Avocado. I really do.
I don't watch this crap. I don't watch
Nikocado is an act. You just got to remember that. He's an act, okay? He went to Juilliard. So he may not be a great actor, but he knows what he's doing. So he's popular for his. I don't agree with his behavior.
I don't agree with
but
his
it's
behavior
still
either.
Absolutely not. And I wouldn't say currently. I still respect the man and follow him, but I used to be friends with Martin Lewis. Now Martin Lewis used to be friends. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. My earbuds, if I twist them, beeps, I think I hang up. Okay. Martin Lewis, back in 2017, I think, early 2017, I became friends with Martin Lewis when his channel was nothing. Now he's blowing up. He's got a big channel. and it's in kind of a genre that I'm not interested in. But I said, now when I became friends with him ages ago, he was a former friend at that time of Nikocado because they're both vegans, right? Back in the day, they were both vegans, and they had both lived in the same part of the world. Okay, so they both lived, I think, Thailand, wasn't it? They lived in Thailand at the same time, and they were both vegans, and they had all these collabs. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty because you know what? I wouldn't do it accurately. I wouldn't do it justice. But there was a lot of drama that went on between the two, and all I can say is, in my opinion, Nick Okada was a piece of shit. And what he did to Martin was really messed up. Now, Martin has been fair to him, but he does not like him. And since then, you know, Nick is the one who's blown up in popularity and makes all the money. Great. You know, how Martin feels about it, I don't know. I do know that on my old Twitter account, I one time said to somebody, oh, you know, because Nick Okada used to follow me on Twitter on my old account. And I was like, you know, me and Martin Lewis are friends, blah, blah, blah. Back in like 2019, I said that. And all of a sudden, instantly, Nick Okada unfollowed me. So that'll tell you right there all you need to know about those two men and their relationship. It's like old bones going back a long time before I knew of either of them. But currently, I have a lot of respect for Martin Lewis, but I don't really follow his content. I support it, but I don't follow it. Nick, I don't really follow it, but it's entertaining. I have to stay away because I'll get fat if I watch it because it makes me hungry, even though he's kind of a douche and he's not a very good actor, and it is all an act. It is 100% an act. He is a Juilliard graduate. He went to school for the arts, for both music and acting, all of the above. So he knows how to be an entertainer. He's a professional trained entertainer. Again, not the best, or he'd be in Hollywood, not on YouTube. But he's making a killing. Can't knock that. But here comes Jason, and he calls himself Jason Avocado because he thinks he's going to cash in on Nick's wealth just by throwing avocado in his name. But he doesn't even understand the concept at all of a mukbang. So when he eats, not only does he not display like food that I can go out and buy and I might want to go out to buy, he displays like horrible drive-through food or garbage and leftovers that Shani cooked, and he doesn't like do it in a good appetizing way like mukbangs are supposed to be done, and all you see is like him smacking and having like cheese squirting out his nose and just chewing like a cow with his mouth open. It's so gross. I just want to vomit.
Yeah, every time I see those, I kind of get reminded of an old Chris Chan video from back in the day when he was trying to
God, yeah.
do the pizza thing. That's what it reminds me of. When he was eating that cheese pizza.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because it's lack of self-awareness. Mm-hmm. Number one. Zero self-awareness. Number two. Zero concept of what people want to see. You know, so if you have no self-awareness and no concept of what people want to see, and you're just a narcissist and an idiot, then you're going to make food videos like that make people want to like look like, you know, you want to retch while you're looking at it. And, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, boy, Eugenia Cooney makes me more hungry than this. This is disgusting. Did you see that like the pizza, the double crust broccoli pizza?
Oh my God!
That's
what it reminded me of, that Chris Chan video he did back in the day.
Exactly. Like, I'll never eat again if I talk too much, so let's stop there.
Yeah, let's stop there.
Stop there. It's so gross. But yeah, Gaasuba. I'm going to say this up front, and if she hears me, cool beans. My first set of comments on that fucking unbelieving video, I'm on it. I was trolling. I was trolling. But why did I pick that video to troll? Because she'd already pissed me off on a former comment where I gave her a chance for many videos past. And because, like, the video was just, it wasn't the I'm bleeding video, but that kind of triggered it. It was the I dropped my phone video. And it was those two were back to back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So having those two videos back to back, I was so disgusted with what she was putting out there, both in a visceral way. Like, how are you going to sit here and talk about your damn period like people want to hear about that? Like, oh my God, what do you think people? What do you think content is? Like, what? Like, but I was also disgusted in this like bizarre self entitlement where she literally described her menstrual cycle as being number one, 4 days long. Number two, only 1 day of cramps. Wow, lucky her. I've never had that since I was 14. I have never had such an easy cycle. Woo! Wish I could trade places, okay? And she's sitting here talking about how this is why I can't work. This is why I'm disabled. And I'm just dying inside like, wow, what a men who are already borderline MGTOW thinking. What are the MRAs thinking? Hearing this lazy bitch do a video while laying on her back, talking about, I can't hold down a job because every month for 1 day I have cramps. I'm just thinking, no wonder men think so little of us. Like, seriously, no wonder men think we're useless. No wonder men think that this gender, wage gap is not only a myth, but that it's based solely on us taking too much time, which is a whole other topic I'm not going to get into now. It's that whole average of the national average, that's a real figure, but there are other studies. There are other studies that show that women do earn less money in individual jobs with the same work and the same experience. They earn less money. And some of it is on women for not being aggressive enough to go and ask for the raises. But again, that's a whole other topic for a whole other time. But all the men that are out there listening to Shoe on Head videos going, that gender pay gap is just an average. But, that thing with her gender pay gap button, and that's like this big blanket thing, when of course it's way more nuanced than that. Well, she's making it look not very nuanced by saying, oh, my belly hurts. Like, and I just absolutely hate her. I hate her when she does that. I don't want to hate her. I don't want to hate her. But I hate her when she does that.
Who, Gaasuba?
Because, like, yeah, Gaasuba, absolutely. Complaining that she cannot even attempt to apply for a job or have any kind of employment and has to be homeless, and now, therefore, the rest of us taxpayers should give her free home, free air conditioning, free electricity, because she has cramps 1 day a month. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, really? And she's constantly talking about wanting to get pregnant and have a baby and believing she has this, this uterine disorder, which I believe her doctor already told her she does not. And based on her symptoms, I can tell you she does not. She does not have it. You know who did have the disorder she claims to have?
Who?
Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn fucking Monroe, who worked every day of her life, had that disorder. Confirmed. Okay? Worked till she died. Alright? So, there's a lot of things you can do when you do have endometriosis, which is what Gaasuba thinks she has. You know the things you can't do?
What?
Without pain? Have sex. You cannot have sex without pain. Yet, what does Gaasuba do for money? From what I've heard, anyway.
OnlyFans.
Thank you. Okay? So if she even had a trace of endometriosis, she could still get pregnant and she could still work. But she would not have a 4-day period with only 1 day of cramps, I guarantee that. And she could not be doing what you refer to as mendingo porn. She couldn't be doing that. It would just destroy her if she had endometriosis, because sex is incredibly painful for women that have that. I do not have it, by the way. I don't have that. I do have my own medical issues, which I was dumb enough to blather on, and like verbally vomit about in there because I was so annoyed by her. I didn't go too graphic in details, but I
You're
said
good.
something because I was just like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Like, dude, I have a literal physical disability, and I still work and own a business and like take care of a family and raise a child. Like, what? Oh, but you're on your back, and changing the cat litter was too much work. Wow, just yikes." So yeah, stuff like that makes me really angry. Makes me mad as fuck. It really does. Because like, women can be really strong. We can be. We
I
can do our
know.
shit and not bitch about it. But she just feeds into every negative stereotype about women that has ever existed since the dawn of time without the luxury of providing humans and housework to the rest of society, if you know what I mean. Like if she wants to be a trad and sit on her ass at home while her man works, just do it the right way
I,
and actually like take care of children, cook some dinner, like do a housewife's job. I've done it. I've done it for years.
one of
I've
the
been off
people
and on a professional and a housewife.
one of the people I was friends with is a housewife, and she does like a side hustle where she has her YouTube channel. And
Absolutely.
see, even if you're a housewife, you can still have a side hustle on the other side.
Of course. Absolutely. The kids got to sleep sometime. And once they get old enough, they go to school or they're playing. I mean, when the kids go old enough, they still need you to be there for them. They shouldn't be in daycare because I've gone both routes. I've worked and gone to school both full time while having a child and having that child in daycare. And you know what? I regret that because while I may have bettered myself, my child lost something for it. This was my oldest biological child. If I could go back in time and find a way to just be happily married, which unfortunately was just not an option. I had been married, had the child, and my husband developed a drug problem and a medical problem and decided he didn't want to work anymore. And I left him because he wouldn't work. But then I became a single mother. And at that same time, I went back to college. So then I was working and going to school and had a 6-year-old daughter and she was in, school full time. I mean, in daycare full time. And yeah, I can say firsthand, being a trad who stays home and raises a kid, there's a huge benefit to the kids. Huge, huge, huge. Because I've done it both ways, and I've got 2 children of my own. I've been married twice, got married, then pregnant in that order both times. My kids are 14 years apart in age. I don't rush into things, believe it or not. But with my daughter, I was a stay-home mother for 2 years, and then he wanted me to go back to work so he could work less. And the more I worked, the less he worked until he quit. Then I was working to support him and my child, so I left. Okay?
Good.
Which,
Good.
that's what people should do, yeah? He made 3 times more money than me, but when I started working harder, he quit so I could support him. It's like, who does that? But anyway, so fast forward 14 years, and I remarried to the love of my life, my soulmate, amazing man, super alpha, really, 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 really lucky to have found somebody as amazing as my husband, okay? And I will kiss the ground he walks on every day. No joke. I'm not being hyperbolic. I love this man. But we have a child. We got pregnant 4 months after our wedding. We'd been together for a year and a half. Then we get married. Then 4 months later, we're pregnant. And now we have our son who just turned 12. And I did work for a while. We both worked for a while. We took turns working during the recession. But at the end of the day, like, our son needed to have a parent home, and we needed to have a stronger income online. My husband is a better earner, and I'm more accustomed to being the stay-home parent, so that's the route we went. So that's why I don't teach anymore.
Okay.
So, and my son is just so much better off than my daughter was, and my daughter acknowledges this. She isn't jealous. She tells me all the time she's so happy that I can do better for her brother than I was able to do for her. She understands. I was a young mother, you know? She's a really, really intelligent young woman. So I'm just so proud of both of my kids. I wish I could have been a better mother to her, but I was young. Now we've got this Gaasuba girl. She's laying around. I'm homeless. The lights are going to get turned off. Wah, wah, wah. I changed the cat litter today, and now I'm exhausted. Why aren't the electricity bills free? I'm just like, what? And she's whining about her menstrual cycle because she has cramps one day a month. Well, I'm sitting there going, bitch, I got cramps 2.5 weeks a month, all right? You know, and she says that's why she can't work. But then she keeps talking about, you know, I may be sterile. I want to get pregnant. She wants to be a mother. Okay, she's got 5 or 6 years, at least 5 or 6 years to worry about getting pregnant. And in that time, she can get married, get a job, get her shit together, get a house, at least an apartment. Have something to offer a child. Why is she worried about that now? She's not terminal.
I agree.
You know? Get your life together first. Don't try and have a baby while you're, like, whining about being homeless and doing, like, OnlyFans porn. You know? That's not how to raise a child. What's wrong with you? What?
That's what I was thinking. I was going to say something. I mean, dude, I have heard countless stories about Shani's OnlyFans, and I've heard reactions from people who've seen it, and oh my god, it's almost similar to what Gaasuba did, and ugh, fucking hell. When I saw AP post that picture of the vaginal discharge, I couldn't eat cottage cheese. I mean, wow.
Oh my god.
That was disgusting.
That was traumatizing. I agree. By the way, Kimmy, it's good to see you there. And
Hey,
you're
Kimmy.
right. People
Hey,
absolutely need to put more value into a nuclear family. It really is important for the children. You may have your feminist values, and you know what? I have actual old-fashioned feminist values. I really do.
We need to.
But I still believe in trad values as well. I believe in a traditional family, and if you're going to have children, and remember, my father was gay. So I was raised with a very non-traditional family with not just drug addicts and alcoholics for parents that were completely, like, irresponsible and abusive hippies. But my dad also brought me up in a gay neighborhood in San Francisco. He didn't come out till I was 14. My parents split up when I was 11. Like, it was very, very confusing for me. And being brought up in that gay neighborhood, I can tell you, looking back, it was not a healthy environment for me. It absolutely was not. It was not in any way. And I have no problem. I'm not a homophobe. I even consider myself part of the fucking alphabet mafia, right? I'm on the B, all right?
The LGBTQ?
Yeah. Yes, I'm the B in the LGBT. I just am happier being kind of trad, and that's cool, you know? I've got my soulmate, so I don't got any reason to be looking for anything else. And I would not choose to raise my children in that kind of family, which it's a personal choice. And some people, I guess, are raising their children, and supposedly their children have, I don't know. I know when I was raised as a child in an LGBT family, it was not a positive thing for me. I can say that 1,000%, okay? It did more damage than good. It did teach me to be open-minded, absolutely. It taught me to be open-minded. It kind of helped me find out who I am, even though when I came out to my dad when I was 15, he told me to get back in the closet. He seriously did. but like, you know, that's all in the past. And, you know, looking back, if I could have my father live his life the way he wanted to live it, but move me to a residential family neighborhood and let me go to school where my friends went, that would have been so much healthier for me. But he was only worried about himself, so he raised me in the heart of the Castro of San Francisco. Don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah.
But I don't think there is a gayer neighborhood in the entire United States. So I was raised in the heart of the Castro. I did have some good role models, like Cleve Jones was he was like a mentor to me when I was 15 in a positive way, in a very positive way. I have nothing negative to say about that man ever, and I will fight anyone who does. But I had a lot, and I mean a lot of negative influences growing up in that neighborhood as a child who should have been in a family district like the rest of my friends. And I was also deprived of things that kids should have. Like when all my friends got summer jobs, I applied for jobs along with them, but when I applied in the gay neighborhood, they wouldn't hire me because all the gay men wanted to see pretty young boys, not a young girl. Okay, and I was told that. I was hired at 2 different places, a juice bar and a coffee shop, and both of them said, I'm so sorry, I gotta let you go. But the customers are complaining because they don't want to see a teenage girl in here making their coffee or their wheatgrass. I'm not even joking. Like, that was how I was let go in 1988 from these 2 places, and it was heartbreaking. Now, I also applied at Baskin Robbins and Mrs. Fields and, the theater, every place else in San Francisco where my parents were all working in the residential neighborhood that I had lived in when my parents were married and my dad was in the closet, right? So I was applying for those places, but nobody would even call me back. And it took me until I was an adult to realize it was because they would only call back people that, like, teenagers that lived in their neighborhood. They weren't going to hire some 16-year-old kid that lived across town because you can't depend on teenage kids. So my father essentially robbed me of the ability to just grow up with a normal summer job experience like every other kid had. I did do jobs. I had jobs from the age of 12, but some of them was living in, like, ghetto areas where my mom was selling drugs. And some of it was just me lying about where I lived when I was 15, 17 years old. And it wasn't healthy. It was not healthy. And if I could make my parents do it over again, I would. But obviously not only can you not get in a time machine, you can't make choices for other people. But what I can do, and what I have done, is make better choices for my children. And the better choices I've made is to make sure I have a home, make sure I'm married first, make sure I bring my children up with the right values, make sure I put their needs before mine. So when I hear somebody like Gaasuba
or Shani
talking or Shani, all of them, you're right, all of them, and they're whining about, I need cigarettes, I need pizza, I need my bills paid, I want to get pregnant, wham, 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 I'm homeless. And I'm just thinking, and you have kids or you want kids, like put the kids first, people. Like, why do you even want children? Why do you want them? For welfare benefits? It's really infuriating and hurtful because I was that neglected child. I was one of Shani's kids with this greedy, selfish, drug addict mother who was only concerned about feeding herself, not me. Not me. That's me sort of when I was 12 years old. There was a house because my mother was a meth addict, and when there was food in the house, she ate it, not me. Exactly. When I was 12 and said to my mother, I'm hungry, she'd say, go in the kitchen and figure it out. There's something in there. You know what there was in there? There were Lipton tea bags she stole from work. Okay, so I don't want to go on any further. You get the idea. I'm going to start sounding like Mary here. And this ain't about my mom. This is about what I learned from that. And what I learned from that is kids need a lot more and deserve a lot more.
Exactly.
Am I right, Kimmy? Am I right, Kimmy? Kimmy knows. I love Kimmy so much. I'm so glad I found this woman.
Kimmy is a great person. She's a sweetheart.
She is an amazing person.
I love her to pieces, too.
Oh, my God.
I love you both to pieces.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry you lost your brother, Kimmy. I'm so very sorry.
I'm so sorry, too.
Wow. Kimmy, you're so sweet.
You're good. You're so loving.
Yeah. She's an amazing person. And, the world and the internet needs more Kimmys. I'm not even joking.
I agree.
Absolutely adore her.
I could.
And, the internet needs more Ricks. I'm serious.
Yes, more of the the collective wisdom of Rickzilla.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kimmy. I appreciate that. I sure hope I would never. Oh my God, I know. This is the most embarrassing you'll ever say online ever. There have been times in the past where I, while in very, very dark times in private, have actually said some of the things I've heard Mary say online while she's having these mental breakdowns. And what I've learned from Mary is, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed I ever said things like that in person, in private. Like what was I thinking? Like how insane was I at my darkest moments to say things like that?
Same
Like
here
I want
with
to
me.
die.
Same here with me.
But yeah, I feel myself saying it and posted that shit online. Oh my God! Like who does that? So
I was in a dark
like
place too. I was in a dark place too.
a lot of us experience the things that Mary exhibits.
Exactly.
But if it's genuine, and if you are like a genuine person who has any humility, you know better than to film yourself doing it and post it online and then say, now send me money to PayPal me / blah, blah, blah.
Adrasdea.
Like, come on. Wow. No, I know hers. I just don't want to like advertise her PayPal. Although I will say it was kind of funny. Like I laughed out loud when I read her, 7-page book. Did you catch that?
Yeah,
In your Discord?
I saw that.
7 pages.
7 pages.
Her 7-page book. Her 66-page book. When I copied and pasted the entire thing, including her rambling and edited prologue, every inch of it. I copied and pasted it, dropped it in a Word document. I changed it to 1-inch margin, single spacing, 12-point Times New Roman. And it was 7 fucking pages, all right?
Wow.
7 pages. Now, when I gave it a double spacing, as if it were a college formatted essay, it became 20 entire pages. Her book is listed as a 66-page document.
I know.
I'm so glad to hear that, Kimmy. Kimmy says that Mary made her, and Mary totally made me more self-aware too.
Yeah,
laughing, crying.
Same here. Mary makes me more self-aware about myself. I mean, at least I admit my faults. At least I now admit.
Thank you.
Admit my faults, and I do learn from my mistakes.
Thank you.
And I don't go around accusing people of wanting me dead.
Oh my God, yeah, that's the wild part. That and the fact that like no matter what anybody says or who says it, suddenly it's everybody says it, then it's my entire family said it. For example, somebody, like a couple of people that are, the S-word people, a couple of the fat people come along and troll her during a Mario stream, right? And they're like, you killed your brother. No. Obviously, clearly, it's trolling. It is obvious and clear trolling, and it's total strangers. And it's like 3 or 4 people, maybe. Yeah, you killed your brother. So clearly, they're just trying to get her goat. Okay? And a week later, and it always takes her about a week, doesn't it? It always takes about 1 to 2 weeks to have a reaction. Yeah, you notice that?
Yeah.
But about a week or so later, all of a sudden she's like, my whole family said it. And at first it's Kathy now tells everybody that I killed my brother. The next day, my whole family says I killed my brother now. Like, literally nobody related to you said that. Like, nobody. Oh my God. It's so wild.
When was this?
It was very recent, but it's like watching the evolution of this, like somebody trolling her or saying something critical of her into the wild, blasphemous lies that it turns into, that suddenly the whole world and especially her entire family is saying to her. It can take anywhere from the course of a day to the course of 2 weeks, but Kimmy it will happen.
Kimmy said, I also bought that book, A Child Called It, the other day and spent 2 hours in bed reading it. And seeing how much her story sounds like that story. And yes, I agree. That's because she basically ripped off A Child Called It and inserted
Now,
herself.
I am meaning to find that book and look it up. Now, I have a very different experience because I do have both the undergrad and the graduate degrees in American literature and British literature. Okay, so, and I have taught composition and composition theory. I've taught critical thinking. I'm an English teacher, and so my experience is, number one, I know of the book, but I've never read it. I've never read any excerpts, but I do want to read it. But I was able to analyze her book, if you want to call it a book. I was able to analyze her
More like a
11th grade essay. Like an 11th grade essay. All right. I was able to analyze the 11th grade essay she's selling as a book and compare it to what we know for facts from police records, what we know for facts from and Kathy, what AP has researched, so we know from him, and what we even know out of her own mouth that does match up to the other things that we know and that has been consistent in her telling. So quite a bit of the story, surprisingly, matches up to the things she's told, although some of the things are really, they're hoops. Now, I did tell my husband last night, I was like, you know what? If this book in this shit condition had been turned into an actual publishing house, like Random, and they'd have been turned into, say, Random House Publishing, and if she'd been assigned a proper ghostwriter and a proper editor, this could be a really good and entertaining book. This could have been a really good story. It could have. It could have. And I'm somebody who's been published, like officially, not vanity publishing. Now, mind you, I don't write creative writing, and I don't write fiction, okay? My writing that's been published has been academic. It has been boring, yawn fest, stuff that's presented at, at academic conferences, all right? That's the stuff I've had published. Not anything anybody would want to sit around and read, for real. I'll admit it right now. My writing is boring AF, right? But it's good writing. And it's acknowledged good writing. Her writing is actually quasi-entertaining. But, I can help you get those police records, Kimmy. Hit me up later. I know the police report number, and I can tell you where all the files are. I've actually read most of these police reports. That's how I know, okay? So, I'll hook you up later, okay, Kim? So, anyway, I can compare what it says in the police report, what she told the police at the time back 12 years ago versus what she says in the book. AP and Virgie have done this too. It doesn't match. And there's big assholes in the story. Like, she 100% went and got him the garbage bags and helped him wrap that body up. She 100% went to Walmart and bought that damn shovel. Like, she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was involved in. And 10 years, 11 years later, the story evolved into this giant victim narrative where she suddenly becomes as much of a victim as the woman who wound up buried.
Roberta? Yes.
And that's really disgusting.
I know.
You know.
And she told, and from what I've heard from AP, from other people, she told Kenneth to get rid of Roberta.
Yeah, she said it multiple times. And she says in the book multiple times that he told her there were bodies buried everywhere, that he'd ended their lives. So, according to her in the book, she knew he was a murderer, capable of ending lives. And she kept dating him. She thought it was fascinating. Yet, according to the court records, she also kept emailing him and texting him saying, get rid of her, for 4 freaking months, while she knew that he was bragging her during those 4 months that he was a murderer. So what did she think get rid of her meant?
Oh, shit. I know.
Yeah, oh, shit. If he told her, I murdered and buried a lot of bodies. And then she tells him repeatedly after he says that and drills into her head to the point that in her book she says, I really believed he killed these people because he said he had. And then if she really believes it, like she says she does in the book, then she says to him over and over, get rid of her, get rid of her, get rid of her. What did she think get rid of her would mean? What did she think that would mean?
In her words, she thought that he meant she thought that when she said get rid of her, she thought she meant put her in a home somewhere, but
you can't have it both ways, man. You gotta be clear. If you're dating a man who has told you he's murdered multiple people and buried them all over the country, and you say you believe that, for 4 months he's telling you, I've murdered multiple people and I've buried them all over the country. Yeah. And then, after he's told you that for 4 months and convinced you, brainwashed you, he's murdered many people and buried them. According to her book, that's what happened.
Yeah.
If that's true, then what are you doing saying, get rid of her, get rid of her? And in the police report, I have to add this, in the police report, according to her own testimony to the police, they drove home from the restaurant fighting the whole time about what to do about Roberta, and finally he said, fine, when we get home, I'll just kill her. And she went quiet and didn't say a thing. Didn't say, oh, no, I didn't mean that. I know you've done it before. You're a badass killer. I meant the home.
But
she stopped fighting with him. She stopped fighting with him and went silent and rode home with him after he said, fine, I'll just kill her.
And from the documentary that AP put out, when, in her words, that he told her to keep quiet or else he was going to kill Meemaw, which, of course, is bullshit.
That's in the book. That's not in reality. That's in the book, okay? So her book is not reality. But the police report was her reality 5 weeks after this woman was buried in the ground.
Yeah.
And the other things that were evidence taken from her computer, taken from the cell phones, taken from the backyard in the hole they dug, those were things that were absolute, undeniable facts. They buried her. He bought the shovel. He donated the wheelchair. She told the police that she went and got those garbage bags to help him wrap up the body. She told the police she sat in the car for 20 minutes. And then he came back and said, it's done. While in the book, she said she waited in fear for almost an hour, and he came back and said, I have a present for you. That's really, really twisted.
I know.
Yeah, that's very twisted, and that's a very different story. Yeah. So, I know what the police report says. A lot of people know what the police report says. Woo!
Exactly. Everybody who hates Adrasdea knows what the police report says. Anybody?
Those are terrifying, Kimmy. People say she's got dead shark eyes, and I think it's... It's actually true. Now, on the comedy side of Mary Eyes, let me just point out that if you watch her when she's trying to be serious, and she talks for like 2 minutes or more, trying to be serious during the camera, you'll notice that her right eye, the one on our left, but her right, will continuously stare at the camera lens, but slowly her left eye will drift further and further to the left. And the more it drifts to the left, the more I'm just like mesmerized staring at them.
Yeah, like,
oh my God, it's like Pong watching them slip apart.
I know. Oh my God, it's funny.
I have black shark eyes. Yeah, she's got those big, dead, scary killer eyes. It's freaky. But the fact that that left eye just drifts away while you're like a ping pong in a swimming pool. It just
that's why I gave her the nickname Horse Frog or Horse Toad, because she does look like she has the face of a toad.
Yes. Yeah, that's appropriate too. But oh my God. Now, just want to throw this out there. I hope she's not actually dead right now. Just saying that. Like, if you're dead out there, Mary, oops, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry,
now,
too.
I've never seen her offline this long. I have seen her for months and months and months threaten suicide, up and up, like progressively worse. And then all of a sudden she just goes dead online for about 36 hours. She never lasts more than about 36 hours. She never makes it a full 48 hours because she can't stand to be off the internet. But she's also never really actually wanted to kill herself. She just wants us to believe we're making her kill herself, right? Now, after months of watching this, all of a sudden it's been going on 3 days, and that woman has not uploaded. And I'm actually feeling a little uncomfortable because, like, I'm not saying she's got the comments turned off. I'm not saying anything to her. This first time I said anything openly online about her, you know. So, like, I don't have to feel guilty. Like, oh, I drove her to kill me. No, if she's dead, it's not my fault. But when you and I talked earlier, I think you really hit the nail on the head. Odds are, Mary couldn't find anybody to blow for boost mobile minutes this month, and her phone's just turned off. That's probably all it is. That's probably all it is. Although she does usually get on a bus to upload stuff that, I don't know, maybe she doesn't have any bus fare. I don't know. I don't know the LA system.
That's probably it.
Yeah, she... now that I think about it, about months ago, she said that, like, I think in July, they were going to start charging to use the Wi-Fi on the bus. Aha! Oh my God, that's it. That's it. When she used to run out of Boost Mobile minutes, she would get on the bus and just upload her videos and record them and upload for free on the bus. And that's why she would never go 48 hours without an upload. She said herself last month they were going to start charging for that Wi-Fi on the bus. You know she ain't paying for that. There aren't enough dicks in LA to blow for her to get the money for both Boost Mobile minutes and weed and, to pay for Wi-Fi on a public bus. Are you kidding? So, yeah, and if she can't afford her own Wi-Fi, she can't afford the Boost minutes. She can't afford... So that's all it is. Because if she's made it 36 years threatening to commit suicide literally every day of her life and hasn't done it yet, she's not going to start now. At least I got to hope for that. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Mary, wherever you are. I hope you're in a better place. But I really doubt she's hurt herself. But I've been worried because it's been going on 3 days.
Me too. I'm concerned about Mary because, again, she hasn't been. This is the first. This is the first for most people. This is the first.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if AP is concerned, but
probably not.
Then again,
wise man. He's a wise man, and he knows, just like we do. He's aware of the Boost Mobile. He pays attention to little details that sometimes I miss. I think I'm pretty sharp, but he picks up on some little things that I miss, and I'm like, oh, damn, he's right. Because sometimes I'm a little gullible. So, it took you reminding me, like, maybe your phone turned off. I'm like, oh, yeah, like, not everybody's like me that actually pays their bills. Duh. So maybe she didn't pay the bill, and she has admitted to literally prostituting for her phone to be turned back on before. And she did, and I'm just realizing now she has actually talked about how the city of LA is going to be charging for that Wi-Fi on the bus. And, that's a whole different animal. She hasn't had that in her life in the past when we've watched her. So maybe, just maybe, that's what's going on is she ran out of Boost minutes and her phone's off and she needs free Wi-Fi. And God forbid she enter like a library or actually pay for a Starbucks, right?
Oh, my God.
So,
God forbid.
I mean, those places should get free Wi-Fi. I don't know.
Walmart.
Or
a Walmart.
Walmart. Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine Mary in a Walmart or in a library filming about how, everybody's being mean to her and how she's trying. Oh my God.
I can picture that. I think I've seen it all, especially after reading that book and listening to her talk about things like, I don't know. Like, for example, did you know?
Can you imagine that the libraries? Can you imagine that the library's going to go over there and say, shh?
Yeah, I can. I can imagine that. But did you know, Kimmy? Did anybody know? There's 5 people in the audience. My number doesn't show up, so it's 5 people besides you and me, Rick. Did anybody else know that after Mima died, Mary lived for almost a year and a half in that condo with no lights and no water?
I know. I saw it in the documentary.
No lights and water. Oh my God. Now she tells people she was homeless for 5 years. Bitch, no, you weren't. You lived for a year and a half in a condo. You were just too lazy and stupid to pay an electric bill.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I saw the
that's all she had
documentary.
to do.
I saw the
So, you're good, Kimmy. Don't worry. Don't worry. That's totally respectable reason. Oh, tell your husband happy birthday, honey. Anyway,
happy birthday to Kimmy's
yeah.
husband.
Yeah. Yeah, she lived there, but the thing that killed me was number one, like, and this was the back burner part. This is not the number one thing for me about letting random men from Craigslist come over to, like, fuck her to give her weed. And she says, and they didn't even care that I was smelly and weird.
Oh,
Her words, because she had no running water, hadn't showered in a year. So she's having random men come over to fuck her for weed. And, quote, they didn't even care that I was smelly and weird, end quote. Ew. Okay, but the thing that was the number one catcher was during this time while she's smelly and weird and prostitute for dime bags, okay, she's going to a soup kitchen and eating at a table with 24 children and claims she convinced the parents and the adults it was okay because she was sitting there to keep them in line.
What
the fuck is letting Mary be smelly and weird hooker sitting at a table with their children in a fucking homeless soup kitchen to let this strange, smelly, weird whore take care of their children? Really? We're supposed to believe that?
Yeah, I mean, she can't even take care of herself.
Wow.
She can't even take care of her cats.
No, she cannot take care of cats. In fact, the story about Smokey made me really angry. I knew people were just fucking with her about the Misty. It is fucked up to abandon a cat because domesticated cats cannot take care of themselves, and generally, abandoned cats die. And I know people have done it, and then I stopped speaking to them because that's evil. Okay? But the only thing more fucked up than that is what she described happened to Smokey when she was defending herself about Misty. I didn't kill Misty. I abandoned her when I couldn't take her to California. But Smokey, and then she goes into the story about Smokey and claims there was a kid named Smokey that her first husband, the so-called tranny, whatever, got her. And she said one day he was getting dressed for work, while in the book it says he never had a job, couldn't get a job anywhere. But according to the story she told in a video a few months ago, whatever, she says Smokey was a little kid and he brought home, and he was getting ready for work, and the cat ran under his feet, so he kicked the cat really hard, and it hit the wall, and was severely injured.
I know.
So she scooped the kitten up and called an emergency vet clinic and rushed it down there in her Jeep that her Mima gave her and made sure that cat got saved, but couldn't figure out how to pay the bill. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's what I did when I had a cat that got a broken pelvis. No, what she did was she crawled up in her goddamn bed with this mortally wounded cat that could have lived. It could have survived or at least been put down in a safe, painless way if it was not savable. If she had just taken it to a fucking vet. But no. She curled up in bed with it and held it while it suffered to death for hours. If that isn't the most evil thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is. I'd rather she help bury 20 Roberta Laws than tell me that story about fucking holding that kitten while it suffered to death for hours and hours, when she could have picked that cat up and drove it ass to a vet.
Exactly.
And just said, Bill me, save the cat, do what you can.
Mary has no empathy for anything other than herself. Her ego won't let her.
Oh, I was so... Yeah, it hurt my soul to hear that story. And she doesn't even get it. I hope she hears this someday. If you ever hear this, Mary, you are the most soulless, evil piece of shit for allowing a helpless, innocent little animal suffer to death for hours when it was your responsibility as a grown-ass adult after your husband left to take it by foot, by bus, whatever means, to an emergency vet clinic or even the pound, whether it be put down or rescued, whatever. Curling up in your bed and holding it for 6-7 hours while it died. That was just evil. That's evil. That is torture. That is animal abuse. It is torture. The kicking thing, I could even excuse the kicking. I've seen people get mad and like lash out at animals, and I do not condone that.
I don't condone that either.
It's one thing to snap and like snap something, you know, while you're like angry, but to then watch it like linger and malinger on and suffer to death for hours. That's unreal. I wouldn't even be surprised if that story is true. I would not be surprised if the husband didn't even realize he hurt the cat. And if he had, maybe he's the one who would have put it in the car and taken it to a vet. But she could have, because her so-called abuser was gone. He went to work for the day. So who was stopping her? Who was stopping her from taking the cat, whether she had to walk or drive or hitchhike, whatever? What stopped her from taking that cat out? Or just pick up the phone and call a vet and say, my husband kicked this cat and it's bleeding out his ass and I think it might die and it's really hurting. What do I do? That's all you gotta do. Like, I literally, when I was 13, my mother knocked my cat. I had a kitten. My mother knocked it while she was being beaten by one of the men. She knocked my kitten out of a 4-story window on the concrete and it shattered its pelvis. This is a traumatic moment in my life. I'm not going to relive it, but you better believe we got it straight to an emergency vet as soon as we understood what had happened. And that cat was unfortunately put down. It was not me that knocked out. I was a child when this happened. And the woman who knocked the cat out, I have no empathy for her for doing that. I have none. Not for what she did to me as a child or to that cat. But at least that cat got put down to put it out of the hell it was suffering through. You understand? At least it was medicated until a decision was made by the doctors. Mary just made the decision. I'm going to hold this cat till it dies, put it in the bed, according to her, and curled up with that damn animal and held it while it just suffered mercilessly till it died.
Damn.
I can't. Like, how can you do that? Wow. So, yeah. Sorry, that was dark. That was a dark moment, but, like, you know, animal abuse ain't no joke. You know, that's no joke. You know?
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. And, yeah, I do not, I'm not going to make excuses for the husband. I'm just saying, if one is worse than the other. The person who's irrational and does something in a snap emotional moment and is unaware of it is a little bit less ugly to me than the person who's fully aware there is a harmed, innocent, helpless creature who needs help but chooses not to help it. To me, that's uglier. You know?
Yeah.
Matter of opinion, I suppose, but yeah. So, Gaasuba. I'm a little embarrassed, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little embarrassed about the back and forth I had with her the other day. But I do think it's very, very funny. I don't know if you did see the screenshot that I DM'd you on Twitter, correct? Of the part I screenshot, because I just had a feeling she was going to either block me or delete it.
I saw it. I screenshot it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome to keep that. Like, again, like, I have this weird back and forth about Gaasuba. Like, part of me is like, I'm a lot older than her. I kind of get some of where she's coming from, minus all the laziness and the self-pity. I kind of get some of it. But, dude, she just is such an angry and lazy person. Like, every time I try, like, I type something in, she'll be like, go ahead, if you have advice to tell me how to help myself, tell me now. So I'll type something, she's like, I'm not going to read all that. It's like, you're fucking homeless, you loser. Like, I know my posts can be long. I know I'm long-winded. It's stupid.
That's good.
But like, who can't read 3 sentences? For real. Who asked for you to write 3 sentences and then says, I'm not reading that. Too much work. It's so wild. It's so wild to me. She's just a giant contradiction. At least Mary's crazy.
I agree.
At least Mary collects cans. Like, I can respect that, you know. Mary collects the cans. That's something. You know, I can actually genuinely see the bipolar in Mary. I believe the bipolar in Mary because I see her in one day go from like, oh my God, feed ducks all this stupid shit I know might kill them. I don't care. I love ducks. And then like she's all in a good mood talking about place she used to sleep on the street, and it's like she's going down happy memory lane. And then all of a sudden she says something that gets in her like stuck in her craw that like happened weeks ago, and bitches about it, and then within 30 minutes, she's making a long series of videos. I'm just like, wow, that went from 0 to 60 real fast. Like, what?
That went south so fast.
Woo! Yeah, she escalates shit like really fast in her own little head. Her own head. And that's why I know the bipolar is like legit on that bitch. It's like, that's the real deal. She goes from nothing to like off the deep end. She goes from happy trying to rescue Cup Duck to the whole world wants me dead, you know? And like my favorite part was the last video where she goes on this long ass rant about when I die, at my funeral, I want this, and this done, and on my headstone, I want it to say, and I'm just sitting here thinking, who do you think is going to pay for a headstone?
Oh my God. Who is, I mean, you have nobody, Mary. You have no one to,
It's true.
You alienated, Mary alienated almost everyone who tried to help her. She talked shit about her family. She's talked shit about her friends. People who try to help her, she has burned bridges with.
Absolutely. Now, what Mary should be worried about is not where she's going to be buried or who's going to show up at her funeral. She should worry about what state coroner is going to wind up stuck with that plastic sack full of ashes stuck on a shelf in a shoebox for years and years and years unclaimed, because that's where she's going to wind up.
What?
Like, I actually know people who have worked for city morticians. That's what happens. If no one claims you, there is no funeral, Mary. If nobody claims you, you don't get a casket, you don't get a plot, you don't get a funeral, you don't get a memorial, you don't get an obituary. These things cost money. And there ain't nobody there who gives a shit enough to, and you pissed off everybody and alienated the entire planet, then you're going to wind up a little sack of ashes in a plastic bag inside a shoebox on a shelf with about 200 other people that nobody claimed for years. That's what happened. Now, if that happens to me someday, that's fine, because I don't care. Like, who cares if you're dead? I'm not worried about my funeral. I'm not planning funerals. This isn't, this isn't a Technicolor movie. This is not melodrama. Like, in real world, I'm concerned about the impact I have in my life now and what I do and what mark I leave on this world now. I'm not sitting here worried about what my headstone will say. I don't want a headstone. Who cares? That's so weird to me that she's complained so much about Booba. Oh, just for Booba. What I won't. She won't. And she what she won't. And she complains about how big and fancy her father's headstone is, and then it turns out she's the one that paid for it with money she stole from me. And then she complains about how nobody gave a headstone like that to her brother and left him with a marker for 10 years, except again. Well, wasn't that your job? Because you paid for your dad's, so why didn't you pay for your brother's?
Oh, oof. Yeah.
Oh, because nobody was there to steal it from? Like, is that it? I don't know. Maybe that's it. I thought Meemaw died after Bubba and her dad. So why did she just steal Meemaw's fucking credit card again like she did with her dad. Maybe Mima was locking shit down better by then. I don't know if she was smart. She was, but yeah, she's the one. From what I understand, she paid for her father's headstone. So all the sniveling and complaining about my brother didn't get anything and my father got this big fancy headstone. That's because you picked it out, Mary. That's because you paid for it. Blame yourself. I like, who cares? They're headstones. Like, who's visiting these headstones today? Not you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get it. I don't get her. I don't get her. Like, I kind of do, but like we said earlier, like there's some self-awareness alarms that go off when you listen to her. Like, ew, did I sound like that at my like worst moment? Like, yikes. Maybe I need Prozac.
Yeah, I kind of sound just like that in my worst moments too. But and then I look back at it, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I said that.
Right. Thank you. Yes, it's so embarrassing. Like, watching her, I feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed when I watch Gaasuba too, but I feel embarrassed for a different reason. Because at least with Mary, I know it's mental health issues. And I know a lot of us have struggled with that at some point in our life. So it's one thing to be embarrassed seeing yourself at your worst mental health on some level reflected in somebody else's worst mental health. But it's a whole other thing just seeing, you know, your entire gender kind of be stereotyped for garbage by somebody who's just a shitty person when they're not wallowing in the bottom of their mental health, you know?
Mm-hmm.
With Gaasuba, she's not having mental health issues. She's whining about things like her menstrual cycle. She's whining about things like having to change cat litter. She's whining about things like her benefactors not getting their paychecks in to take care of her when they're working for paychecks and she's not. Like, that's embarrassing on a whole different kind of scale. You know what I mean?
Yep. I get what you mean. I mean, she's basically complaining about trivial bullshit that she could do herself if she had decided to get a job and get her head out of her ass.
That's correct. That is correct.
I mean, for God's sakes, Gaasuba, learn to be an adult. Oh, wait, you can't, because mentally you're an infant.
Right.
Kind of like Adrasdea.
Correct.
Yeah, kind of like Adrasdea. Remember when she's crying? Remember the Sunday stream I did? Where she was crying saying,
yes, I remember.
I was a baby, and technically I still am.
Yes. It was a good catch there. I mean, I watched that the first time, and somehow I missed that part, probably because she just starts to make my eardrums go numb after a while.
I know. I was like,
but,
oh my god.
Wow. Yeah. No, she's yeah. Mary is Mary and Gaasuba are next level locals. But in very different ways. Very different ways. They may both. I'm sorry, I'm like tripping on my word. They may both be homeless, lazy cunts. Or they are. Not maybe. They pretty much are. But they're very different types of lazy, homeless cunts. You know, just very, very different. And I like it sometimes when AP starts doing his like, where's Mary's a little stronger. He's like, yeah, I like that. When he starts comparing the two, because it's funny. Just when you think there's nothing worse than Mary, he'll put up a comparison between Mary and Gaasuba, and it's like, oh damn, he's right. Mary is better at this. Mary's better at adulting. Mary's better at life. Mary is stronger than this woman. Wow.
How?
Oh, here's another thing I want to pull out of her book towards the end of the book, because I don't know how many other people have actually touched on this. Maybe nobody. Let me, in fact, see if I can scroll to it and possibly. Let me see if I can scroll to it I don't know if this thing's going to work. Oh, there I go. Okay. Hold on a sec. So I've got to go down. There we go. I think I'm in the right area. I still have the book open. All right. So there's something I have a point of contention with in Mary's book that is just flagrant stupidity or lies or both. Okay.
Oh,
now,
you're on for that.
I know
oh, you're
a
on
lot
for that,
of people.
Kimmy. Kimmy said,
What?
could you imagine if Gaasuba invited Mary into her found family? Oh, there'd be... oh, she'd probably accuse them of wanting her dead, too. Mary would
probably kill them all and take their places, like a body snatcher.
Yeah, but she probably will make a video saying that they want her dead, too. Just like everybody else.
Oh, my God.
And then she's going to start punching herself.
Okay, let me find this spot in this goddamn miserable book. Okay, here we go. All right. You don't mind if I do a little bit of a read through here, do you?
Sure. I don't mind.
Okay. So, I'm bringing this up because I have a little bit of a special knowledge in my history and my background. I have quite a bit of education in many different areas because I've had a boring ass life and a lot of free time on my hands. So I spend that time volunteering my time to help people. I've spent that time going to school. I spend that time either being educated or becoming an educator. All right. So in 1987, I was 15. I worked for the Names Project in San Francisco. If you've heard of it, the AIDS quilt. And my mentor was Cleve Jones. I later on became an HIV and AIDS educator. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have the background on me and why I'm touching on this and why I think probably most people online don't have the same background as me to speak on this, all right? So anyway, she says in here, I would meet a man at this time who had HIV. I didn't care. I just needed to be loved, and he was willing. He wanted to marry me after a few days. A week after that, he was cheating on me because I wouldn't marry that quick. I became desperate and told him I would do anything. He was into S&M and wanted to hurt me. I agreed. He asked me to bend over the bed naked. He then took out a leather belt and hit me so hard. My knees buckled and I slipped to the floor in tears. He picked me up and told me to count the strikes. 13. Each one sending lightning bolts of pain through my body and leaving swollen purple stripes. Some bled. He then had sex with me and he didn't use protection, intentionally trying to infect me. I went to the hospital and told them I was afraid I'd been infected with HIV and I was put on a medication that would kill it if I got it quickly. Okay, I'm going to stop there.
She doesn't know a single damn thing about... She doesn't know a single damn thing about HIV.
No, she does not, because let me just read this again. I went to the hospital and told them I was afraid I'd been infected with HIV, and I was put on a medication that would kill it if I got it quickly.
You can't kill
There's
HIV.
no such animal, okay? No such medication exists. This has never been invented. If there were any such thing as a drug that could cure HIV and AIDS, this epidemic would have been over a long-ass time ago.
Exactly.
So this drug does not exist. Now, what we do have is Truvada. We do have Truvada. Truvada is for people who live a high-risk lifestyle, and it only offers an 87% protection, and you have to be taking it before you get exposed, okay? Exactly. Number one. Number two, we have AZT, and AZT is used for newborn infants as a prophylactic when they are developing their immune system if they are born to HIV-positive mothers. But this is part of an overall protocol where the mothers are already HIV positive but suppressed before they give birth. So it's just a prophylactic as a maybe it'll help, but no evidence it actually helps, because what we do know works is that people who are HIV positive who are fully suppressed with an undetectable viral load are not contagious. Okay, so she's not saying this man was on any kind of protection, so according to her, he's contagious. And according to her, she was given, like, the drug doesn't exist. That's all there is to it, okay? The types of medications that we do have to help prevent people who are at high risk from getting infected, they would not help in this situation. You understand? Would not help.
Yes. Yes.
So she just looks like a big asshole telling this story like she's really, really trying so hard to
now that
the suffering. Do you understand there are 34 million people in this world currently infected with HIV and AIDS? There are currently 1 million and 1.13 million people currently living in the United States with HIV, and 1 out of 7 do not know they have it.
Exactly.
And she is attempting anyway, to profit off the suffering of the people who are having to live with this and have had to live with it, some of them for decades, by putting this story in there with this nonsensical fairy tale about a drug that can kill the HIV virus. Fuck you, Mary. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay? Can I just say that? Fuck you, Mary.
Yes, you can say it. Say it loud. Say it with your
That
chest.
makes me so angry.
Say it with
How
your chest.
dare you? Bless your heart, Kimmy. Like, we need to talk about that in private, all right? Because that's like, it's just like talking about HIV and AIDS stories with those that we love is something that should be brought up in public attention, but it's not something that should be either like done in a passive way, you know, in comments where that person's story is not the priority, and it's not something that should be done where you don't get to address how it affected you and impacted your life. So let's you and I have an actual serious talk about that, because I've lost a lot of people that I loved in my life because my parents were heavy drug users when I was a child. So I was 9 in 1981 in San Francisco, and my parents, of course, being meth dealers and addicts, all of their friends were gay, went to the bathhouses. So believe you me, a lot of the people that I grew up with as Uncle this, Uncle that, by the time I was 15, a lot of them were dead. Okay, so that's why I went the route I did as far as becoming an educator in this area, because it was deeply, deeply painful and personal for me.
I know.
So for Mary to use this, it just enrages me on such a deep and personal level.
She enrages me on everything.
Fuck you,
I mean,
Lord.
exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing with me. I mean, I suffer from clinical depression, and the fact that she always uses the whole suicidal ideation, it triggers me because I have had my bouts with suicide.
Heartbreaking.
And I have tried, and I have combated those urges to prevent myself from going through with it. I have fought it. And even when I was dealing with withdrawals from my medication, I had those thoughts, and it really, really fucked me up. And the fact that this dumb bitch would use suicide as a crutch to garner sympathy is it pisses me off to no end.
Absolutely. And you have every right to feel that way. And guess what else has made me mad lately? When she was at the height of the battle, the war with her Aunt Kathy, who, by the way, I adore you.
I love Aunt Kathy to pieces.
Oh my God, I love Kathy.
That's why
I have a hard time calling her.
I want to get Aunt Kathy.
I'm just saying, I have a hard time calling her Aunt Kathy because, you know what? Like, I was surprised to find out how old she is. I thought she was at least 10 years younger. And I'm like, well, she's really not that much older than my older sister. Because, like, you know, I don't think of myself as old. I got a 12-year-old kid. Like, fruit of my loins here, okay? I'm still a mom. I'm still, like, you know, I don't look in the mirror and see an old lady. Maybe I am. I don't know. Whatever. But, you know, my sister is, like, 13 years older than me. Kathy's, I thought, was just, like, a year or two older than my sister. Turns out she's, like, 13 years older than my sister. So she's old enough to be my aunt, but, like, almost, you know. because my mom is in her 80s, and I think Kathy's quite a bit younger than that. But just the same, like I feel almost like it's disrespectful calling her Aunt Kathy, if you will, because I'm not in my 30s or 20s. You know what I mean? So that's why I call her Kathy, as more of a comrade, sisterly way. I love Kathy, but maybe I just need to get a grip on how damn old I am. Maybe that's part of it. But when she was in this big old war with Kathy, right? She's in this big old back and forth war with Kathy.
Kathy won.
Kathy won. Oh, absolutely. But she also she put her foot in her mouth quite a few times. I started doing something on the side, and I've got me and ADHD. All of a sudden, it's like, what squirrel? Like, so I don't even know what the fuck I was trying to say. But yeah, it'll come back to me. Give me a second. I'm just like watching everything. Kathy is a godsend, Kimmy. I really love Kathy. I hope that I get to talk to her someday soon. I do.
Me too.
But what the hell was I going to say? Oh my God, I'm totally wondering. I should be, but I'm not. Kathy, she was, fuck it. It slipped in the wind. It's gone.
That's okay.
I will remember. It'll come back to me. Let's get back to Gaasuba for a second, because we're still on this screenshot. Because, tell me something. What the hell is this? The troll, hey, I like to think I'm smart. I like to think I'm worldly, and I know a few things about, weird stuff even. But
this is like some
romance.
It's like some sort of weird role-playing thing, I think.
Maybe, I think so.
It's like some D&D
I'm not
shit.
sure. I don't particularly care, and it looked like it could be interesting if I had a backstory on it.
Yeah, me too.
But, yeah.
I mean, it's like they're playing some sort of weird-ass game. Or something like that. And that's what I was...
I don't know.
Yeah.
To mediate
all the cards that she added in. I mean, the whole thing was interesting. I was legitimately more interested in hearing her voice read off the narrative than I was in whatever was in the narrative, because it's not very often that you come across somebody who can actually read. A lot of people still kind of stutter and stop mechanically.
I stutter whenever I read. No. I kind of.
It's okay. It's something that's common. It's almost like a rare skill to be able to just kind of read fluidly.
Yeah.
That's why I complimented her on it,
in different directions. Yeah. And unlike humans who have
I was saying something about her putting her foot in her mouth. Damn it, what was I saying? I love Cammy, she's the best.
Trolls exist in a state
oh God, like my brain literally just derailed so hard. I'm like,
I get that
like
a lot.
A railroad train. Yeah, it just took a dive right off the rails. So, because I was in the middle of doing like trying to read the one thing and doing something and adjusting something else. Like the minute you start doing three things at once and pretending all you're doing is talking, that's when you lose your train of thought. Now I have to leave the room and do something. So yeah, it's just par for the course, So and what was I saying? She put her foot in her mouth about. It'll come to me. It will. And if it doesn't, the audience isn't huge enough that I can't either put it in the comments or just message the two of you later.
All right.
It was this thing, damn it, because it was something that was bothering me. I know that it was bothering me, and I just suddenly was like, damn it, let me bring this up, and gone just like that. I hate when that happens.
Other relationships to be more successful.
But yeah,
I still don't understand how the fuck she can read fluently when she makes countless videos saying that, oh, I don't know this, I'm too lazy to do this, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And yet she can't read your comment you left on her video, one of her videos.
Thank you. I know. It's lazy. It's laziness. She wants to blame it on ADHD, but it's just plain flagrant laziness. And I know, because I have ADHD and sometimes I get lazy. And when it comes to reading comments, sometimes I'll see a long one and be like, pass. Even though I am the queen of dumping long-ass comments. You know why I do that? Out of laziness. It's my own laziness. because it's actually a lot more work for me to go back and edit something from like a giant like brain dump and to just two succinct sentences. That's really hard for me because I spent 6 years in college being trained to turn a thought that wasn't enough to fill a paragraph into like 20 pages. And the more that you do that, and then you start teaching composition, which I did, and then you have to teach a bunch of college, like fresh out of high school and didn't score very well on their placement test. You have to teach them how to turn what equates to about 3.5 sentences into 3.5 pages. And, you know, after a while, you do that for a decade and a half. And then all of a sudden, you can't just, like, leave a comment anymore on a YouTube video and be like, this was stupid, period, send. It's like, then all of a sudden, it's like, no, just, that's just brain dump. I just brain vomit through my fingers. And that's why I do what I do with those long-ass comments. That's the lazy side of me, is just brain vomiting through my typing. And I admit it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, sometimes I do that too.
It's much easier than going back and editing it. But generally, when I don't edit, at least usually my spelling and my grammatical syntax, all of it, is actually pretty good. But it is, it's a lot of work for me to go back and try.
I always like to edit my stuff.
Yeah. I try when I'm able to, when I've got the time. If I don't have the time, I don't want to bother with the long comments or whatever. I skip it. There's a lot of videos I watch where I don't comment at all because I know I'm going to just either write too much or not know how to sum up what I'm saying, just not have the time. I've got a lot going on.
Same here. Or actually, I don't got that much going on here.
You know, I don't feel like my life is so boring and empty. I'm going to start going back to the gym tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking about going back to school next year because my life is so boring
really?
Since the lockdown.
Even though it's been the worst.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have a conversation with you if I hadn't done this. If I hadn't done YouTube, I would have gone completely off the deep end.
We don't do that.
I would have been like Mary.
No.
I mean, oh my God.
You could never be like Mary. You could never be like Mary.
No one can be like Mary. No one. Not even Shani or Rev can be like Mary.
Shani and Rev, oh my God. They are something special, aren't they? Did you catch the, I think it was like 27-minute long stream that Rev did recently? Just demanding and crying for cigarette money?
I know. I covered that in one of my streams. And I know a lot of people in the Geek Rooms community will say, whoa, Rickzilla covered that. Yeah, I did. So fucking what? I mean, oh my God. I didn't think he would be that worse. Kimmy is right. Mary is in a league of her own.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. And I could be somewhat of a league of my own. I mean, I don't need to stand out and conform to what other people like to do. Like I said, Right. It's best to stick to your own guns.
I agree. God, I still know. I'm like, got this thing stuck in my head. I'm like, what the hell was I going to say?
What were you trying to say for Aunt Kathy?
It was something Mary said that involved Kathy, and I don't remember, and it's bothering the shit out of me now. Wow.
Try not to think about it. You'll go insane.
You're right.
Yeah.
Which stream freaked out, Kimmy? The one with Rev ranting and screaming about needing tobacco money, and he got $1.06, I think, donated to him.
He is a petulant child, Kimmy. He is a petulant child. He's a man-child.
He is. He absolutely is. He's absolutely a terrible person.
Yeah.
But Jimmy, there are worse things. There are worse things in life than listening to the petulant child that is Rev snivel and cry about why won't people give him cigarette money? Like, I don't know, like maybe Jenny for Christ, OnlyFans links, Twitter. That's worse. Don't go there. You've been warned.
I know. It's worse than it's.
Good God.
Then again, Gaasuba's is worse.
Let's just say the very first tweet out of that account, I actually is the only one I commented on, I think, and I said, at least now I know how Shani knocked all her teeth out.
And the fact that Rev has a baby carrot. It's a
baby carrot with a PA bigger than the carrot.
Yeah, it's got
you can hear it
floppage.
clicking on her teeth. Oh my God, it's terrible.
It's got floppage, folks. It's got floppage.
When she's near it. It only flops when she's near it.
It's got floppage and slack. That's what he says. And then he said made that video saying, "I don't want it to be a fact that I have a baby carrot dick."
I'm dying. I'm so sorry. Oh, Jesus.
I know.
Oh, I'm going to throw up. That was hilarious.
Folks, can you say squirt? Oh my God. Oh my God. Those two are just insufferable.
They really are. That's
Oh my God. You should have seen the 20-hour marathon they did where they're trying to raise money by getting Rev to do the one chip challenge. And then he drank bong water. And then he drank bong water. Dirty bong water before it. And then he had stomach problems.
God, you wonder why.
He had fucking stomach problems, and Shani is just laughing at him while addressing the audience. I was like, "You're not gonna help him? You're not gonna help him, Shani?"
Kidding. I'm kidding. When they get stuck on railroad tracks, he's not man enough to get out and push the car. She has to be the one to push the car.
Oh my God. Well, she has a big girl.
Oh,
she has a big girl.
she's a big girl, all right. She's like 5'10", 5'11". She's a big lady. That's a lot of woman.
That's a huge bitch. That's a huge bitch.
Oh my God. Yeah, they are something, aren't they?
They are the most entitled. But then again, there are still some people who are worse. Hell, one is in jail right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one person is in jail for butt doing nasty things to his mom. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Chan.
Yeah,
Timmy
Timmy says that she's truly never seen so many entitled people in all of her life until she came across Shani and Rav, Mary, and Gaasuba. Honey.
There are worse people out there.
Don't you think Chris Chan's a little more entitled than those four added together and then squared?
Yeah, take everything you know about Shani, Rev, Gaasuba, Adrasdea, take that and crank that to 11. And Chris Chan has done all that shit. Have you ever seen all those videos from yesteryear where he's like talking about his you may know me, y'all should know me as the creator of Sonichu, the electric hedgehog Pokemon. And then,
I've been subscribed to Chris Chan for about 5 years. I've been following him for quite a while. And he's pretty infuriating. Like a couple of months ago, he put out a video before all this shit went down. He put out a video where he forced his mother, batshit crazy as she is, on camera to thank her older son, because she has a son, I think his name is Cole, who was 17 years old.
Cole Smithy.
Yeah, Cole.
It was a half-brother.
Cole was 17 when Chris was born. And Chris is really hostile towards him There's a very broken relationship between Barb and Cole, just like there was a very broken relationship between Robert and his two older children. So even though he's the youngest of four children, Chris was raised as an only child, and he was spoiled because this was the only child that Robert and Barb had not fully alienated. Now, I want to say that it was like 10 months ago. Cole sent roses to his mother. I don't know why. Maybe it was her birthday. I don't know.
It was for her birthday.
Yeah. So she get out, Kimmy. No, really?
Oh shit.
Oh wow. That's actually so funny.
Don't let
Oh my god. Okay. Well, if anybody ever listens to this later and can't read the chat for some reason, I just read our lovely Kimmy say in the chat. By the way, she followed me in Instagram.
I know. I read it.
For future audiences who may choose to listen,
Yeah.
sometimes I get into live streams and I can't tell what the people on stream are responding to from the chat. So
it's just Kimmy. It's just
clear,
Kimmy. Yeah. It's just Kimmy now.
I have no idea why, Kimmy. She said she has no idea why. She's just crying over that. That's funny.
Dude,
Oh
do not, Kimmy, do not give Shani money. Do not send Shani money. Do not
you do not look like a sucker for money. I ain't saying that, but you're a newbie to her and you have a real face. You don't have like a cartoon face or something. You don't have like a masked identity of like what looks like a real name and a real face, and you're a new person to her. That's probably why she followed you, because she's thinking, oh good, a newcomer who's never heard of me, doesn't know anything about me, who's going to send me money. So that's how people like Shani work. Like if I were to follow her, she's probably seen me around somewhere because I've been around for a while. I show up everywhere. I'm in every dark corner of the internet. I really am. I don't know how I have time for all this shit, man. I got family.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I'm everywhere.
Shani won't talk to anybody unless she knows them in real life, or she can see their face in real life.
Right, and since Kimmy has a beautiful profile picture.
I know, I saw it.
Shani can see it, and she can see that beautiful profile picture, and she's like, okay, a real woman. Real woman's name. It's not like Butterfly Minx. No, this is like a real name.
It's not like Jules tells all. Or
immediately, she's going to think she's got a sucker on the hook right here. That's there's a lot of people out there that are using their real face and their real name, and in that entire community that just shits all over Shani and Rev. There's a lot of them out there. So Kimmy's not the first woman to use her real name or face, or at least use what appears to be her real name and real face. I don't know. I know her. I like her. I love her. I trust her. I asked her, is that your real name? Is that your real face? I'm not going to. And if I did know, I wouldn't dox her. All right?
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, as far as we know, I don't know. It's a screen name and it's a borrowed face. But as far as Shani knows, that's a real name and a real face. Oh, honey, you could send me that. I don't do a lot of Insta, and I've got 5 different Insta accounts, but I never use any of them.
I have one.
I'm the worst when it comes to Instagram, and I do try my sad little pathetic best. I try and keep my Facebook and Instagram worlds apart from Twitter and YouTube, because I behave very differently. I put my family out there on those other platforms. I keep them locked out and private. They have my real name, my real address, and information to my location and my family. So if I ever connected my say Facebook to my YouTube or my Facebook to my Twitter, I would get doxxed by people. I hate my guts so fast, and it has happened in the past. That's
what happened to me.
I'm hoping to be far enough past it, but it has happened.
That's what happened to me.
Happen.
Someone took some of the pictures of my cosplay pictures and posted.
Oh boy!
And it was me dressed up as Batman in 2017, and they made fun of me, calling me Fat Man, and
oh my god!
I mean,
well, when that shit happens, you have to either ignore it or laugh with them. You know, the reason that the lolcows become the lolcows is because they react.
Yeah,
That's,
and I made a
it's
bad.
plain and simple.
I made a
It's plain
mistake,
and simple.
and I made a mistake reacting to it. But
I think we all do in the beginning. If it happens, like I was a sucker that night when I first got involved in internet drama, etc. Many, many years ago. I put TMI out there, which there's a lot of stuff I talk about my real life, and I still do. Because like I don't care. It's been out there. Who cares? I just try not to get too personal, which I've done in the past. Like I don't care how many people know I was like an abused child. So what? Like I'm not the only person who was an abused child. Come
me
on,
neither.
right?
I'm not the only person.
So I don't care if people know, that I live in, the realm of Northern California somewhat in the San Francisco Bay Area. Who cares? Like I talk about it enough. People know, so long as they don't have my damn address, that's fine, right? So long as they don't have my real address. Now there was a crazy person that shall go unnamed who every time I even said anything like I have a stalker, this person would go and dox me literally 4 times in a row with epic, just Odyssey length amounts of writing, like Homer writing, okay?
Odyssey.
In lolcow. I was doxxed 4 fucking times in one day in lolcow. And they shut it all down and even accused me of vanity posting. And because my children's doxes were in there, I had to write to the moderators and say, can you please take, like, I know you got them locked, great, thanks. Can you please delete these goddamn posts? And I had actually, like, archived them so that I could take this to the police, because it was very serious, okay? And then after they deleted these things for me, the mods from lolcow, because, like, they didn't care. I'm not an internet personality. I'm just some bitch who, like, posts and talks shit on Twitter. That's not lolcow material.
Exactly.
But this person doxed me with my face, my real name, everything, and my children's information, and then tried to get somebody to swat me. When I have a fucking autistic child at home, my baby would have been so traumatized. Oh my God. Oh my God. Imagine if she'd gotten her way. And the person that she was trying to get to do it was a vindictive, crazy person who would do things like that. But she actually hated the person doing this to me more than she hated me. So she came to me and told me, because she didn't want to go to jail for swatting. She wanted me to put that person in jail, but the person was in Canada. So it was a big old drama. This happened years ago. And I finally, like, just let this person know, like, hey, if you contact me one more goddamn time, I know your grandfather's address where you live, and I've already contacted the police where you live, and I'm going to call them and send the police to your house because you won't stop them. And it stopped. It stopped dead. I've never said her name since. I don't intend to say her name now, but she did. After I had those threads, I archived the doxes from lolcow, and I got the lolcow months to delete them because I'm nobody. She sent me, under her full legal name, by the way, this is how crazy she sent me an email to my business email address that I do not answer. She sent me an email address there saying, in fact, I still have it. Let me pull this up and I will read it to you. It's very short. It's under her name and threat. There it is. Threat with docs email. Boom. Hey, amiga. Happy New Year. If you believe that I was harassing / stalking you before, comma, you've seen nothing better. These are archive pages of what could be, with 2 of the archives of 4 of those archived pages where she doxed me on lolcow, and then she goes, your one and only warning, sincerely, her name. It's like, wow.
People are just sick.
That's fun. Yeah, January 16th, 2019. So that's when it happened 2.5 years ago. That's the last that's not the last I heard of her, but that was the last time she, like, really aggressively threatened me. And I got my last Twitter was deleted. I was naughty. I called, I think I said in October of 2019, I called Omniscian a literal retard. Yeah, that was it. I called him a literal retard in Twitter, and I got permanently banned.
Who did you call a retard?
Onision, Onion Boy, Onision.
Onision.
Yes. So I called him a little retard because he is, and
he's doxed. He's doxed people in the past.
Girl, it's mental. What did I do to tick her off? You know what I did? We were friends in Facebook. She's an autistic person. We were friends in Facebook for, I think, 5 days, where she called me 3 times a day in Facebook. And at some point I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I didn't, I don't remember. I don't remember if I talked too much one time on the phone instead of just waiting for her to talk, or if I didn't answer, I don't remember what. But she deleted me, which I was like, cool, you were driving me insane. Good. And then out of nowhere, she just started attacking me in live stream threads all the way. Those were years ago. And it went on for about a year and a half, 2 years. And it finally ended, I want to say in the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020, when I finally threatened her with sending the police to her grandfather where she lives, because I just couldn't take it anymore. And my son was in danger. I have a family, I wasn't naming her. I wasn't talking about her. I wasn't talking to people that knew who she was. You guys don't know who she is. I'm not naming her here. I don't know what she does now. I know where she lives, because I had to find out from the police where she lives, because that's how terrifying this got. And I have just documents upon documents upon documents of the threats and the doxing that went on against me, because after knowing her for 5 goddamn days and being dumb enough to let her know my actual Facebook, this is my reward for being nice, I guess. I guess she didn't think I was nice. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bitch. I don't know. Who cares? Nobody deserves all of that. Nobody deserves to get doxxed. Nobody deserves to get harassed. Nobody deserves to have their children threatened for years. Literally years. She went on the cunt stream to shit talk me, and within 8 minutes, every one of them called her a bold-faced liar.
Who did they call a bold-faced liar?
The people on the cunt stream, from Schmeckel to Sinatra. Sinatra was the first one to call her out, and Sinatra didn't even like me. He didn't even like me. That I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have any opinion of me. But we weren't friends. I didn't have a problem, but we weren't friends. And yeah, he listened to her talk for 8 minutes. He's like, everything you just said is so full of shit.
Exactly.
You sound like the biggest liar. And so everybody's like, yeah, you got some issues, lady. Everybody came down on her. I did ask Schmeckel a couple of years ago back in 2019. I asked him for a copy of that. But his old Cunstream channel got deleted. Don't know where it went. And I don't know. He's got stuff going on. I'm not going to talk about his personal life or my opinions of what he might be doing, but I never got that, and I didn't pursue it very heavy, so it's whatever. It's just lost. I never got the copy that Schmeckel promised to give me, and I didn't pursue it, so that's my fault, not his. But yeah, that was something I was going to take to the police as well. But I just hope to God she's not stalking me so bad that here I am a year and a half later from the last time she's harassed me on Twitter. No, and now she's gonna be like, "You've done it," and I talk. It could happen. It could, I doubt it, but you never know. Let's just cross our fingers and hope that doesn't happen. But that, Kimmy, if you ever wonder why the first time we met and you kind of gave me a little personal information, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in Facebook. I don't share that." Now you know why. I eventually, when I get to know people really well, after a year, 2 years, a lot of talking and things, I will eventually share my personal information and then not piss them off. But this person was somebody that I got close to immediately. I trusted them too quick, and that was really stupid. It was really stupid. Lesson learned.
Oh, wow. Look at the time. It's almost 1 o'clock.
Oh, my God, you're right.
I mean...
for me, it's after 1, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta end this stream, if that's all right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're fine. We've been talking forever. Your fans must be so bored. I apologize to everybody having to listen to my rambling.
It's okay. You're fine. You're fine. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking around. If you were still up, thank you for sticking around. Be sure if you want to see more. If you want to see more of a reality check on my streams, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support me, again, my PayPal link and my Cash App are in the description if you want to check it out, as well as in the chat if you want to check it out. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for hanging around. Be sure to
Absolutely.
give Reality Check some love. I mean, she's fun. She's one of the best moderators.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
That's it. Thank you for sticking
And
around.
thank you all for showing up, and thank you for putting up with and tolerating my cheese grater of a voice. And thank you. God bless you, Kimmy, for being here. I love you so much. Maybe one of these days you'll come on with us, because that would be a treat. I would actually legitimately love that, you guys.
All right. Thank you.
So I'm going to say good night.
Good night.
Thank y'all for
Rickzilla.
having me.
All right.
We'll talk again soon. I'll see y'all soon.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. I'm Rickzilla.